Because supplementary income is important.
Well, I mean, I have to sustain a living somehow, right? It's the only way you get ahead in this life. Is also the only way you get ahead in this freaking world as a fan. Staying off the freaking internet, because Lord knows if you don't, you're gonna get some sort of stupid nonsense because it's gonna give it to you. So that being said, guys, been a moment, but hey, let's go ahead and talk about things. We got prohibited portals, we got the Forbidden Door, we got granted gateways, we got
Shane McMahon potentially going all elite.
Well, again, big R word rumor.
Well, to be fair, Tony Khan says that if Shane wants to, if he hears that Shane wants it, he'll welcome it.
Well, I mean, again, you never know what could happen in this business anymore because we've already seen Joe Hendry show up in NXT as NXTNA continues to be a freaking thing. We know we got Utami Hayashida versus Io Sky. Here's WWE versus Marigold, courtesy of Wrestling Universe and Peacock. We know we got freaking AJ Styles versus Narumichi Marufuji, Pro Wrestling Noah versus WWE. And we learn of a tortured soul refused to be forgotten and has now found himself in a whole different identity after they arrived last week on Raw. This is so much more happen because once again, we are here as per usual, fam, to discuss all things wrestling impromptu. Hello, everybody who chooses to watch this whenever you choose to. We thank all of you. Hope you enjoy the conversation. It's truly as simple as that. It's unscripted. It's unorganized. It's impromptu. It's as simple as that. It is the Age Review Impromptu. For we are ATW. We acknowledge.
Have you heard about? There's been another update on Jim Ross.
And discuss all things wrestling, including health habits. Get well soon. Good old JR. But go ahead and talk about that real quick.
He's been hospitalized again due to difficulty breathing.
I saw that. All I'm going to say is this. You can't keep a good boomer sooner down. My prayers go out to good old JR on his speedy recovery. I also want to send, on behalf of the ATW fam, my condolences to the family of the Anali family, being quite honest here, the entire thing. Acknowledge them. R.I.P. Rest in power, as I learned.
And then Pat McAfee lost his father-in-law, I think.
To one, Wild Samoan, of course, in Sika. Roman Reigns and the entire Anali family, our prayers, condolences go out to you and Pat McAfee. Maybe that's why you were taken out by the WyattSicks. So get well soon. Before we get into things, shout out, of course, the entire W fam, including but not limited to, he's different, James Hebert, our own indie darling and rising wrestling correspondent, SC, our queen across the pond, Megan Chiba, aka Mary J, continues to prove that Jade's worth more than gold. Preacher Man, Casey Flynn, hoping for more things to come for Dakota Kai because she should be champion or she'll be in Money in the Bank. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Just saying. Appreciate you, brother. Take care of yourself, as always. And, of course, our enforcer, Alex, who continues to learn other languages beyond Katsuri Shibata's phone. And that being said, gentlemen, again, we are ATW. Shout out to the entire family. I would be here all night if I named all of them, but I don't have the lexicon in front of me. Let's go ahead and get everyone's initial thoughts and mindsets before we really get into our conversation on all things wrestling. First off, Eric, as always, the bearer of all things news and the tester of his own mentality more than others, too. Good to see you as always, my friend. How are you and how are your family?
Doing good. My job is being my job, a pain in the hassle.
Well, that's most of corporate America. I mean,
except I work for the government, so.
Well, then. Yeah, you already have the biggest stress there is. So, God bless you.
And also, there's been an update about what's going on at WWE headquarters.
Oh, okay. We'll definitely talk about that here in a moment. I'll let you kick things off with that, as you always
Vince McMahon's office is still empty.
I'm not surprised. They're going to probably fill it with concrete.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure someone probably looked. Here's how I can imagine it. They're going out. They're outside the door. They try to go in. It's like, I can feel the evil coming out of this womb.
Right. The dark aura is being permeated from the air. That being said, a lot of good stuff in the air tonight, especially in professional wrestling as of late. And King, we just, of course, did our usual go home. Always good to see you, my brother, my AEW bruv since day zero, the KING King. And recently made his debut on Open Mic Night. Again, we welcome you always through that portal. You are definitely a welcome guest. Good to see you, King. How are you tonight?
Since you said that, shout out to the whole JM, man. Thanks for having me on Open Mic Night debut. It was awesome. I'll be back on there soon. Just give me the link or whatever, and I'll be back on there. But other than that,
I wanted to ask about that. How was it?
Yeah.
How was it?
You talk about your.
I know you drove Noah nuts in the first few minutes.
Actually, that was the last closing minutes of the open mic night, so it was pretty good.
Why are we opening?
But I
Okay, I got a question. Did Jeff Meacham actually ban me from ever appearing on this show because I proposed Jillian Hall singing "Let It Go" a year back?
that's a him question, not mine.
I don't know. I don't know the imaginations of good old Jeff motherfucking Meacham's mind. That's all him.
But other than that, I mean, tonight was good with Dynamite. Now that's how you do a go home show for Forbidden Door. There's been a whole lot of prohibited portals, Forbidden Doors, and everything else in that nature. So to all of you, happy Forbidden Door week, folks.
Yeah, because Forbidden Door, of course, is this Sunday, and of course, as part of our interview Impromptu, we always preview some of the biggest matches and our biggest excitement levels in accordance to the stories and what we're looking forward to the most, and what could definitely come following some of these matches as well, considering July's got Beach Break, Pride Fire Fest, Fight for the Fun. I imagine they're going to squeeze that in there somehow. The Owen, and of course, Blood and Guts before we start the pathway to in. And that's just an AEW, not just the other stuff in all things wrestling that, of course, I will highlight up to this point and also discuss. But yeah, good to see you, King. So I think, Jeff, without further ado, now that we got our pleasantries out of the way and I see our mentalities continue to hold up, let's get right into it. So first off, again, it's been a moment since we last did this. I honestly can't recall last time we did this because it's so impromptu. Sometimes it's like out of the blue. I think Lex was the one that made the last one official. But I know that we have done a few things in wrestling since that point, including some of those matches that I, of course, announced. We, of course, had I almost said Backlash. You see how tired I am? What the fuck? Botch. We had Clash of the Castle where I don't think they were as crazy as France, but you definitely can tell it's a whole different world when you take WWE internationally.
Yeah, and sadly, the fear that they had a few years back when Roman won came true because fans got crazy after Punk screwed Drew McIntyre.
Right.
Oh, the Glasgow screw job.
Yeah, the crowd after the show were mad, livid, were chanting BS and all that, and we're booing Samantha because she's
But that's not to say. Here's my thing. Why are you booing Samantha? She's just trying to tell y'all go home, be safe, take care, or whatever. But you want to boo her? Like she doesn't deserve it.
This is the thing I've been wondering.
People always misplace. Why have I not thrown this thing away? People always misplace their anger because they don't know appropriate outlet for it.
Yeah, here's the thing. Ever since WrestleMania Night 2, Samantha's been targeted of harassment, threats, telling her to stop overacting, stop being emotional. You're supposed to just say the stuff like a robot, like our supreme leader Vince once told us.
Some people can't move on from a bygone era, let alone people actually showing passion as a wrestling fan. Believe it or not, folks, the passion for this business for some fans is not artificial or created by Twitter.
It's genuine.
Damn it.
Also,
even in this business, even in the actual business, on our screen from the people not inside the fucking ring competing. Anyway, continue.
And let's see what that's been going on. Let's see. As WWE probably will, and some people are advocating that WWE doesn't go back to Glasgow for this or ever goes back to Scotland because they screwed Drew again.
I mean, this time they literally screwed him in his own country. Wade Barrett said it post-show. Wow, I never knew Wade Barrett had so much visceral in him.
Look. Wade Barrett, of all people, knows what it's like to be screwed. Cena and all that.
Well, yeah.
Did you have to bring 2010 back up?
Cena, yes. Even he said, yeah, that was a dumb stare at his part. So,
yeah, look, here's the thing. He can say that all he wants, but he never fixed it. He just made it worse.
Well, it's not like you could fix it at that time, because at the end of the day, who was holding the pen and paper, okay? Bygone era. We can't just freaking focus on the past if we're going to try and build a better future here in the present. And WWE has done that through this new era through Paul, Triple H, Levesque, in spades, to the point I watch more of WWE weekly highlights across all three of their shows, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. I still don't watch them verbatim because, one, don't have Fox. Two, NXT, chase you. And also
Raw is 3 hours and there's too much filler.
Too damn long. Anyway.
Yeah. There has been also so as for the last few weeks, we've been hearing the rumor and even Tony Khan talking about it. Shane McMahon going all elite wrestling down the road, potentially, hopefully. Here's the thing. I was like, well, on the one hand, I get Shane is the least scumbag of the McMahon family. I get it. But like, do we really want to add a McMahon into all elite wrestling relatively with all the stuff going on?
And that was my initial thought because I'm like, people are still talking about Vince. People are still talking about the lawsuit. And yeah, Shane is the least of the McMahons, but at the end of the day, he's still a McMahon. I feel like, yeah, it's cool because I remember when ECW back in the day was supposed to be like, if you watch the ECW, the whole one night stand with thing, and with Paul Heyman, they wanted to make it go streaming and back in the day in 06 before the sci-fi thing. And he wanted to do that. That's why I felt like that's what their NXT at the time, even though 2008 ECW, I don't want to talk about that. But I have mixed feelings about that. Like, if he wants to help AEW because of that aspect, I'm okay for it. But I'm still on that side of, okay, it's still a McMahon because, yeah, he's the least of all of them, but he's still a McMahon by the end of the day.
There are
various something else will draw ratings and draw attention. As much as we don't want to say it, we need to admit it. AEW needs more attention than ever right now.
Actually, there's been reports about that last week rating thing that happened. Turns out WBD and AEW looked at it and it's like, nah, this doesn't really bug us. I'm like, really, it's the demos that count, and also you do realize what last week was.
And look, I'm gonna just say this for the record, like when the kid, like it was Juneteenth, and plus it was like let's be honest, to all about people who watch the Kendrick Lamar concert after Dynamite or during Dynamite or whatever. Many people were watching the Kendrick Lamar concert as well, so people were split screen. Not only were they probably watching Dynamite, but they were also watching the Kendrick Lamar concert because of that aspect. So it's Juneteenth and the Kendrick Lamar concert.
You gotta remember one thing. They were still at their original threshold, they were told. 500,000 viewers each week.
I mean, if that's the original, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Now, I'm just a simple man. I work for a nonprofit. I have a 403B that's about 15 years matured. But here's the thing. Hi, Jeff. I don't work for a network. I don't know how a network works internally. You can say whatever the hell you want. You can have whatever certificate you want. But unless you literally have worked for a network yourself, you don't dictate anything in television. And as far as I'm concerned, the network's happy and it still shows on my screen every week, I got nothing to worry about. At the end of the day, I don't focus on a channel. I don't focus on a company. I focus on the workers in the business. And as long as AEW exists, that is opportunity for this business.
But also when the whole stuff about Shane came out, I was like, okay, look, if Tony Khan is really serious about getting Shane in the company, okay, have him run Ring of Honor just to test out before you really give him that kid big responsibilities.
Right, but yeah, again.
And also, just please do not have him fight Darby Allin. We already have enough issues with him.
I think there's a reason.
I don't want to see Shane with another torn hamstring in the middle of the ring of what happened at WrestleMania 39 last year.
But here's the thing. Guys, here's the thing. Darby Allin has had Darby recently almost had his nose ripped out by a dog.
Yeah, I'm about to say Darby Allin is a madman, and also King's Frozen, which is awesome. That's hilarious.
Yes. And also, apparently there might be a potential lawsuit between WWE and MLW again.
Well, again, time to
but you want to know what the real reason was? And when I heard this, I was like, no. WWE is now mad over, hey, MLW wants to trademark the Hart Foundation. We say no to that. That's ours. And I'm just like, no, it should be Bret Hart, the Hart family, because they're the Hart family, in my humble opinion. And we're still having people gatekeep what's going on with Owen's tournament because greater good or something like that. Also, there's a reason why Roosh had MJF had their match last week.
Why?
Apparently, he's been banned from Forbidden Door.
Yes, I have heard that too.
Ooh. Wonder why, considering Rocky mended bridges with CMLL and AAA, it seems.
Well, apparently CMLL was not happy, would not be happy if Roosh was booked for the pay-per-view. I think it might have been because of the bad blood that happened between the two.
Well, again, time doesn't heal all wounds, and also some Mexicans are more hot-blooded than freaking anything can cool it down. So there you go.
But speaking of hearts, I'm glad you brought that up because I was on a certain Nightheart's Twitter just earlier today because I heard early speculation. So I checked out this Nightheart Twitter, and that one Nightheart is Natalya, and she has removed all WWE references from her bio.
So let's just go ahead and just do this real quick. I'm just going to say this. Classic Castle, congratulations to Alba Fire and Isla Dawn getting the moment in Scotland. Piper Niven, phenomenal match against Bailey. Bailey, tremendous respect. Drew McIntyre got screwed by CM Punk. The freaking Scotland screw job bigger than the Montreal screw job. You use your own distinctive judgment towards that. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Great I Quit match with AJ Styles as Cody Rhodes retained the title, and we know what's next for AJ as far as what he's doing outside WWE with WWE still part of his name banner, but I'm still waiting for Mr. TNA to come home. And funny enough, you mentioned one Hart. You wonder if that Hart will return home to Canada, Montreal to maybe challenge the Juggernaut, because we're talking about NXTNA, just to switch gears here. Yeah, so Natalya, there's been a lot of thoughts about her, maybe if she's going to renew her contract with WWE, or with this whole bridging opening now with the prohibited portal, PP, NXTNA.
Here's my heart talk on that. Why does WWE keep waiting at the virtual last minute for these contracts now?
That's a very good question that I can't figure out the answer to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like even
a serious face.
Yes. But when I kept hearing about these, I was like, are we seriously still on this whole wait till the virtual last minute for these contracts to go out?
Well, I mean, they never seem to have figured out how to handle their contracts. And at this point, with WWE making more money than ever, I mean, I guess they can afford to do that. Or maybe they can't reach an agreement with the talent. It's like, I don't think they have like a central person even handling this, because here's the thing. Communication is key. And in the world,
that's the thing about that. That's the thing about that part, the communication thing. Apparently, they fired the guy who was always constantly delayed with the whole talking.
But they still seem delayed at this point.
So it seems like fans were. It seems like they have not found a proper replacement.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show not everybody can have a job in WWE, I guess.
And also, remember the whole fiasco? Okay, so I wanted to talk about this at the Clash. There was a big report that broke out after the Clash of the Castle ended.
What?
So remember how we talked about Samantha getting hated by the fans?
Yes.
Well, there was something else that flew under the radar.
As some stuff does.
What do you mean?
The fear that I always suspected that came from football fans has bled into the wrestling. The fans are fighting back behind outside the arena.
That don't surprise me. That really doesn't surprise me. But also, I am going to say this. I am going to say this real quick. International fan bases of any sport are far more of an unstable environment post than fans here in the United States for any sport.
But yeah, there was reportedly fans shouting and swearing at each other once outside the arena, and even getting things into fighting. And I was like, well, I always knew this was going to happen eventually.
I mean, it is Scotland, though, to be fair. It's one of the fight capitals of the world. They're known for fighting. I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm pretty sure New York is all about knowing about what happens in Scotland after that portal mishap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, the cake is a lie. That being said, again, going back, though, to Natalya, I do not rule out her showing up in Slammiversary to challenge the Juggernaut. I mean, it's far more better than that polluted air being literally just smogified by ash of ignorance with that concierge that should be iced.
Here we go.
I'm gonna be on it. Fuck that. But also, just to switch gears real quick to TNA, we of course had Against All Odds. The system continues to work. They still have all the gold. We saw a great match with Mustafa Ali and Trent Seven. Mustafa Ali still undefeated in his global campaign, trying to make the X Division great again for an Ali we trust. Now over 300 days undefeated, still the X Division champion. And we also saw a bunch of other wacky circumstances. ABC got the better of Josh Alexander and Eric Young. Of course, we know now what's ahead for both those men. One man more particular than the other. Joe Hendry got screwed by Frank Kazarian, and Ace Steel did not bite him. And Frank Kazarian and Joe Hendry both showed up in NXT as NXTNA continues to be a thing. So we saw Joe Hendry have the biggest light moment since WrestleMania 40. Put that in perspective, folks. We believe. And of course, we saw Frank Kazarian. He represented TNA as well, not only coming out first, but made it to the Final Four. I said his name. And I'll give credit where credit's due. That's major for TNA, and Frank Kazarian, tremendous performance. And we're seeing more of this NXTNA crossover at the forefront with just NXT and just TNA. I do wonder when it might bleed into the main roster. There's Natalya, the first domino to fall before maybe Mr. TNA comes home. Just saying, holding out. So I just want to put this out here real quick. What did you guys think of Joe Hendry and Frank Kazarian showing up in NXT?
Okay, here's my thought. When I heard this, I was like, what took them so long with Joe Hendry? Like, everyone's been clamoring for that.
They've been saying his name nonstop.
As for Frankie Kazarian, okay, just I'm just like, oh, look at that. What was that guy? What was his name at one point when he was in AEW? He was called the Elite Hunter.
Correct.
I saw him debut live when he arrived in TNA during some
Here was my thought process. I was like, oh, what if he actually goes after Cody out of nowhere during that appearance he did?
I mean, Cody
was an Elite member.
He needs opponents for his championship because he's too good as a babyface, and it's a detriment to him. Just saying.
Oh, by the way, there's been also I got an update on Ludwig Kaiser.
Yes.
Oh, Ludwig
Kaiser at Imperium.
You're going to be both happy and upset.
Why?
Turns out Dragunov was never going to be part of the Money in the Bank qualifiers, and because he got injured, they replaced him with him.
That makes sense. I'm not upset. Either Dragunov is too intense for his own good, honestly. And after seeing that war, I saw live against Braun Breaker, I'm not surprised one bit. The dude got speared 4 damn times.
Yeah, speaking of Braun Breaker, I'm still thinking they should just call him Rex Steiner, for God's sakes.
Yeah, that's a whole
or just call him Rex Breaker.
Well, we'll talk more about Braun Breaker in a moment, but before we talk more about Braun Breaker
with all that stuff going on, I am surprised that they're giving him the IC title shot opportunity.
I'm not. He's had a hell of a run, and Sami Zayn goes in the book on that personal right. Oh, yeah, that was the
No, the reason why I sound surprised is because I would think they would wait a little bit longer to do something, like maybe SummerSlam, because Sami Zayn's still on this big momentum, and, you know, Chad Gable's been screwed once again because contract BS.
Well, he resigned, and now he's in.
That's my thing. Like, he resigns, and then, we're not even thinking about giving him the IC title. Screw him.
Well, now he's in Money in the Bank. Maybe he's got a chance with that. If nothing else, we're seeing a new Alpha Academy being teased after that locker room face-off where Maxine...
In fact, everyone's been clamoring to see the Creed brothers team up with him.
And Ivy Nile will actually have something to do until she tags alongside Jordan Grace and takes the Women's Tag Team Championships, or take them from the system, please. Hello. That being said, before we switch gears, as we always do, King, anything further you want to add regarding this NXTNA so far, the surprises that show up on Tuesday, who you think maybe crosses over next from the white and gold to cross the line in TNA, or vice versa? What's your expectations?
Of course, it's good to see Kazarian still, that was very good sight to see. I mean, I saw that when it was first broke by Shawn Michaels. He kind of spoiled it on Twitter on that night, Frankie Kazarian. So, yeah, he spoiled that. As far as Joe Hendry goes, whatever. I'm just glad he's there, whatever. Because I still don't believe, and that's all that.
Blasphemy! You're blasphemy!
Look, I can say something far worse for blasphemy than King what he says.
Oh, no, let's not go there.
WWE has trademarked independent development.
Independent development?
And there are concerns now that WWE is once again doing the, hey, we did this to Evolve, right? Let's do this to this other company.
Remember what Triple H was trying to do with NXT? Remember that too?
Global globalization.
Yes.
Correct.
And NXT Europe is still dead in the water.
Well, this whole prohibited portal thing might literally breathe new life in global localizing, not just NXT, but WWE. Just saying.
Yeah, and that's been my concern because. And here's the thing: people keep bringing up, why is no one watching TNA? And I was like, because no one knows what Access TV is, and I'm still saying they need to be on a bigger network for God's sakes.
I mean, this guy watches TNA because he has an original X Division Championship.
Hey, whoa, JJ!
Hey, welcome to Impromptu. Welcome to the Chaos. I moderate here. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I honestly forgot about this, and then I saw that there was a link in my email. I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's right."
You
I was gonna pop in here, and we were gonna crash things and everything.
Yeah,
Forbidden Door, as it were.
I figured you would drop on by and see if you can want to ride the ride of Eric's Chaos. Eric, JJ, Eric. This is the guy that holds the keys to Open Mic Night, by the way. So please introduce yourselves and have a chat for a moment.
I was the guy that proposed the whole Jillian Hall singing "Let It Go" on your stream once.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
And I think I recall it was either you or Jeff Meacham that says you're banned.
Probably. Look, this is such a moment. Kine Train turned the light on. He came out of the darkness because I have shown up now.
And JJ saw that JJ came forth from the light. He arrived in ATW. God help you. So we were just literally talking about, which is fitting because not only we're talking about TNA, we're talking about NXTNA, and we were just talking about, what we could expect to maybe see next.
What do you think of the idea that Shane might go all elite?
And that too.
We said this so far that Shane is the least worst of the McMahons on the grounds that he doesn't like his father, it seems. And there have been rumors that apparently he's blocked Stephanie and Triple H from their social media accounts, but that's just a rumor. And like I said, Shane is currently the least problematic of the McMahons. I mean, like, he even was against the whole, hey, Stephanie, this is your dad. Do you want to sleep with your brother for TV purposes?
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Look, JJ, I don't know if you heard this. Did you ever hear a rumor back in the day where Vince McMahon apparently proposed to Stephanie to do an incest storyline?
I warned you, JJ. This is
vaguely remember that. Yeah, I try to forget it, kind of like Katie Vick.
Yeah, I understand.
I try to pretend like that didn't happen. Like Agent K and Agent J just appeared in front of me one day and like that did not happen.
Yeah, I get it. But like, here's what I'm just gonna tell you. This isn't just the fact that this wasn't a rumor. No. WWE themselves confirmed, yeah, that was an idea at one point. Stephanie herself said, yeah, my dad pitched this idea where he's the father of Triple H's baby because that was a thing. And I said no. And then he pitched Shane. And then I was like, no. And I'm like, so wait, you mean to tell me in a WWE produced documentary you decided to reveal that Vince McMahon is an incestuous freak?
Because it went over so well in WCW when they were doing it with Torrie Wilson and David Flair and Ric Flair and all that good junk.
They had to copy it, Because...
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I think there's been something new development. I think we know where we got the whole lie detector test with Vince and Hulk Hogan back then.
Ding.
Yeah, I think they got it from WCW because guess what was revealed about Vince Russo?
Bro.
Vince Russo came out and said this. A former magazine writer that was part of the. Okay, yeah. One of the former WWE writer and magazine editor for WCW came out and revealed Vince Russo pitched this. Okay, what if we do a lie detector segment and we pay O.J. Simpson $1 million to confess? And I was like,
JJ's brain.
So that's where WWE got the whole Hulk Hogan Vince lie detector moment. Now that makes more sense.
All right, I'm going to stabilize this back to Earth after that.
I'm gonna say what you always say to me on open mic night. Noah, reel it back in, please.
So yeah, talking about crossovers that aren't toxic in pop culture and maybe politically incorrect and also controversial.
Don't worry about chaos. WWE says they're going to escape the censorship issues once they move to Netflix. So get ready for swearing languages.
And you know what? I talk enough about NXTNA with this bruv every night, every week when he holds up in mind that, which you folks can watch, by the way, if you haven't heard of it. This is my friend of Reggae Wrestling, JJ Williams. Of course, he and I do commentary for WWE Motives Media for all things WWE and NXT. Please check out his platform that he moderates that endures far less chaotic shenanigans, believe it or not. On Open Mind Night every week, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturday night.
I'll probably be banned.
I don't know about all that. I don't know if it's less. It definitely gets chaotic, especially when the super chats start flowing in to make Noah sing.
But you all encourage that madness, and this dude getting me to sing some Busy Mark nonsense.
By the way, JJ, I gotta tell you, there was an ATW episode where I ended the episode literally singing "Hellfire" by Barnes Country, but with a different rendition to it.
Oh, for the love of God!
You remember, King?
Yes, I remember as well. We keep that buried in the archives for a reason. Why you went far more uncensored than what WWE's trying to do in 2025. Speaking of, yeah, we learned some news about the Netflix deal here, JJ.
Yes, I've heard that too.
Yeah, Triple H apparently was able to give us some more details on what the Netflix deal is going to do. So I guess for premium members, they get more unrated, easier to consume within less time. Addition to Monday Night Raw, but apparently it's going to be unscripted. It's going to be more edgy, and it's going, praise God, to 2 hours. But the thing is, where USA Network loses that, they gain it with SmackDown, going to 3. God bless it. But that being said, we know the future of SmackDown. We know the future of Monday Night Raw. We don't know the future of your NXT showcasing on CW yet. No further details or updates.
I think there was an update.
Well, let's go ahead and get Jada's initial thoughts on what Raw and SmackDown looks like for 2005 and see what he thinks may need to be done or what he wants to be done. Because for those that don't know, that's his NXT, damn it. He'll tell you that verbatim.
Okay, so, I got the update. NXT will be airing on CW Network on October 1st.
Right, yeah. And that's much we do know. But as far as beyond that, JJ, what is your expectations for NXT's CW arrival, and how do you feel about these changes coming to Raw and SmackDown? The floor is yours.
Well, from what I know about Raw, I'm looking forward to the 2-hour time slot again. I'm looking forward to, we won't say more Attitude Era content because some of that didn't exactly age well, but definitely a little bit freer flow within the verbiage. I just feel like a lot of times that stuff comes out natural. And for them to have had to try to restrict it for what, like 20 years? It seems kind of crazy.
2000, when was the first 3-hour Monday Night Raw? It was
2000.
Well, you figure once Cena stopped freestyling, they kind of started to get away from as much sexual content.
Right.
As far as verbally, because he was putting that stuff in his freestyles.
Right.
And he dropped that in 05. So I would say between 05 and 08 is when they really started to go more in that PG direction.
Yeah. And then the 3 hours followed, I think, Raw 1000, if not a little bit before that.
Yeah, it was more. Yep.
Okay. So, yeah.
As far as them catching that extra hour on the SmackDown side of things, that can be good. But at the same time, I'm hearing that Triple H wants to put a focus on the younger talent on Raw. Your Carmelo Hayes, your Braun Breakers, your Lyra Valkyrias, etc. So if that means that SmackDown is just going to get the greatest hits brother, I'm not sure if I want to tune in to see 3 hours of the same old shit.
Here's the thing I've said about 3-hour Raw, 3-hour SmackDown, and the possibility of a 3-hour AEW program. I said this, look, they could probably get something consistent out of them. I'm like, they're not going to be banger after banger after banger after banger. That's impossible. But here's the thing. I was like, okay, either they have to do like a special, like make the third hour a special, like back in the day where they had this Warzone section of Monday Night Raw with the PG Raw, and they could do something with that with now with the third hour being dedicated to more restricted content, more or less restricted content for WWE, or AEW, or they could just let the wrestlers who actually have ideas and could contribute more to the creative team could pitch their idea and do more self-created angles to enhance the 3 hour, like give a character development finally.
It's a fair outlook.
And trust me, I'm not saying that WWE needs another freaking championship. Resurrect the cruiserweight title and make that our cruiserweight division like Nitro used to be. Virtually the entire first hour that ran unopposed to Raw used to be like heavy focus on the cruiserweights. Yeah. And then as soon as it became 9 o'clock and they were competing with Raw, that's when the NWO would come out. That's when Goldberg would come out. That's when Page would come out. That's when all the big hitters would come out so that you were competing head to head. That first hour was their throwaway. So that's where you had the Benoits, the Malenkos, the Guerreros, the Jerichos, the Mysterios.
I think AEW
they wanted to use that extra hour for that.
They have.
Well, they got more than enough talent that they definitely could do something like that. As far as a cruiserweight-focused division, I mean, I think that's kind of what they did with Speed. And Speed.
You got guys like Bronson Reed competing in Speed.
Wait. No, you don't. I can attest. Bronson Reed was on WWE main event, which is even less relevant, but it wasn't Speed. Speed was, okay, I guess you still got me there. Speed was Dijak versus Xavier Woods. Because Speed is not defined by limit. They're trying to have some sort of like no limit.
Okay, here's my thought about Speed. I thought I was like, oh, so this is your response to New Japan's TV title? That's the only logic I can think of.
Well, I mean,
but the TV title is like 15-minute matches.
Yeah,
so,
but
like,
he's saying we could get this done in 5 minutes.
They're doing 3 minutes. You can't tell a lot in 3 minutes. You might as well be running a superstar showcase in that time.
I'm like, I would have settled for 5 minutes at best.
Same.
But that's asking too much.
With all due respect to JJ's NXT, why it's more quantity than why they're building the quality, most of their friggin' matches go fracking over 5 minutes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which allows them to showcase more. And again, on the developmental blend, you need to do that, which is why, again, I respect this NXT a lot more than what it used to be. But again, whole different conversation. But good tangents and fun still, JJ Eric. So, King, again, you and I, we've kind of been restored as WWE fans. Why JJ really came back during, I guess, into this new era to see it come to this fruition. We endured the worst of times and the worst of times, as a Charles Dickens novel would say. But look at the state of WWE right now and what they're going to 2025 with Raw and SmackDown and maybe what NXT continues to be or what it could become, especially with NXTNA. What's your expectations on the Raw and SmackDown updates, at least with Netflix? And what do you want to see maybe happen in NXT? What they had to CW?
As y'all was alluding to with Raw with the younger talent, I mean, I'm all up for it because Raw right now, I will say this, I can enjoy Raw a little bit better nowadays than SmackDown. That's just my opinion. I mean, yeah, I don't like the 3 hours, but at least I can digest a little bit more on Raw than Bloodline 2.0 NWO 2000. I'm just saying. But other than that, SmackDown is what JJ said, is what y'all saying about having all the, bigger talent and greatest hits. Yeah, I'm not up for that. I mean, that's just same old big names, big matches, and same stuff, same this. I'm not all up for that. I don't want to see that. And as far as NXT go, CW, I mean, I didn't picture NXT having to be on the CW, but here we are. But I'm willing to give it a shot to watch at least on the CW because wasn't that NWA spot
Yeah, and then Mr. I'm an Edgelord thought it would be a good idea to make fun of Tony Khan because the internet's a thing.
Well, again, the internet is the greatest and the worst thing ever made in the history of mankind. And
No, it's probably been the worst thing for wrestling for the most part.
I think we've all said that since the development of the self-named internet wrestling community. But in all fairness, to play devil's advocate, without the IWC, we would not coexist.
That's fair.
That's accurate.
But yeah, I will say this. I've been looking, like I said, at the Raw highlights, the SmackDown highlights, and the NXT highlights. But when it comes to ingesting the actual product during live time, I do find myself doing that a bit more with Raw and even with NXT to a degree. More particularly NXT, though, during the specials. And I'm not just talking about the ones that we call, nowadays. It's literally every special we call here. Also, just a heads up, JJ, you might as well just add your NXT CW premiere just because of the circumstances of it to the watch along schedule.
You know what? Natalya said the same thing to me. So great minds, but I kind of wanted to wait it out a little bit and see what things were developing as we got closer, work schedules. It's bad enough that I wasn't able to do Battleground. It's bad enough I'm not going to be able to do Heatwave. I don't want to no-show the CW premiere just because of work. So if it's one of those things where it's like, I'm going to be booked to work, I'd rather not even announce it as a thing. You know what I mean?
All right. I respect that. That's fair. But I still say, bottom line, though, the ideal form of a wrestling product, 2 hours, limited commercial breaks, a focus on young talent, develop the future, don't depend on the past. And a lot of population of WWE right now, even with NXT, is extremely focused on that. I love the fact that Lyra Valkyria, spoiler alert, folks, qualified for Money in the Bank. This focus on Braun Breaker, who is a super athlete this generation, is absolutely tremendous for me. And when it comes to the SmackDown side of things, they got fucking Jacob Fatu. That's a game changer. I'm just saying.
Game changer.
You know what's insane to think about, Noah?
What?
The fact that Ilya Dragunov is probably going to defeat Drew McIntyre and Sheamus.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because they're going to spiral so out of control that Ilya is going to take that spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Okay,
you look at the field. You look at the field, and everybody in that match are people that have never been in that match before.
Exactly.
It's pretty much all young lions with the exception of Chad Gable.
And Andrade.
Chad Gable's the only one that's been around the block a little bit.
And Andrade.
And Andrade, excuse me.
Yeah,
I forget about him because of my hiatus.
That's fair.
But you think about it, Orton didn't qualify. Owens didn't qualify. I'm telling you, they're going to end up with Drew and Sheamus not making it. It'll probably spiral into some 1-on-1 match at Money in the Bank.
Right.
And Ilya Dragunov is going to get that spot. Mark my words.
I agree with you. I've noticed that. What do I say about triple threats? Buffer, fall person. In these qualifiers, though, you literally have a story developing, and it's like, okay, you kind of know the third person's winning. I mean, look at Shayna Baszler and freaking Kyrie saying damage control is right now damage good to the point that Io Sky is ready to drop them unless they change. And Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark are trying to figure shit out, and maybe Sonya Deville could help them figure things out. Though we'll talk more about Shayna here in a little moment when I do an ATW highlight reel, as I talk about all things wrestling pretty quickly. That's simple to take. And then, of course, to your point, with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre's friendships, Drew's focus now on making everything personal as possible with CM Punk, and those two are on the collision course for one of the matches, no doubt about that. Sheamus right now, just having the time of his life, burger and bangers. What a combination, by the way. And Ilya Dragunov right now, again, who's been on the ride of his life along with Lyra Valkyria since drafted back in April to Monday Night Raw. While on the SmackDown side of things, you got what could be Melo in the bank and Carmelo Hayes. That's going to be a hell of a highlight reel during that ladder match. I'm just saying. Chad Gable, again, who's going for this whole new attitude adjustment after literally seeing life flash for his eyes. We'll talk more about that here in a moment for sure. And then you have Andrade. And then you also have the other person that also did there. But the fact that these Money in the Banks, through their qualifiers, are bringing so much first-time opportunity and showcasing to this challenge for people willing to go through it for it, considering Lyra Magic destroying careers, it really is a beautiful thing to see because it literally is opportunity. It's not just, okay, you're here, you've been this long, I like you, you're being handed this, blah, blah, blah. It's made in concept, it's made in sense, and it's development. Because doing this type of stuff with these, why they call them superstars, I call them wrestlers, but WWE, simple as that, superstars, that's literally how you build the foundation of the future in WWE. And Lyra, Ela, and Carmelo are at the forefront of that, along with the newly resigned Chad Gable.
And I'm going to tell you right now, Jade Cargill ain't going in either.
No, I already knew.
Tiffany Stratton is going to get that spot. Mark my words.
I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now. Chelsea Green, Tiffany Stratton be at the top of the ladder. One of those two wins women's Money in the Bank. I think it should
absolutely.
I think it should be
Tiffy time, damn it.
Oh, Chelsea Green. I love it. A hot mess. She's the one that's about creating the moment. And she deserves a winning championship moment. Tiffany Stratton has the world behind her with Tiffy time, okay? She'll be launched to the stratosphere. She'll get barely one-on-one, because trust me, that's a match to come. But Chelsea Green, this is the best opportunity for her because her character and the way that I could see her trying to cash this in or preserve this would be so much more hilarious than Tiffany Stratton stranding around like a Beverly Hills tote bag, with all due respect.
With her and Piper, though, if she wins.
Yeah.
Tiffany doesn't have that baggage.
Ouch, but also accurate.
Telling you, that's why it's Tiffy time, bro.
Damn it, I don't like you, JJ, if you're kind of right. I can't wait to call.
No. If there was ever a time for me to go and say we're going for the not safe area portion of this, because you mentioned the whole well, I like you, so go ahead and you're in the Money in the Bank thing. It just reminded me of a new allegation that dropped about Vince.
Oh Jesus!
Oh God!
And this is where it's gonna get messed up.
Make it quick, and then I'm gonna stabilize it.
So, okay? Some guy, I'm trying to remember his name. He's a former MMA fighter, Chalon Sonnen.
Chael Sonnen.
Yeah. He revealed something that made me go, "Yeah, I could honestly see that." Where Vince McMahon allegedly not only slept with women, but he slept with men in exchange for getting pushed on TV.
Oh, it is Pride Month, so I mean, hey, anything's on the table.
Yeah, the idea that Vince might be closeted doesn't honestly surprise me with the way he's acted on TV throughout all his entire career. It wouldn't surprise me. I just wish he just come out and say it instead of doing the dark, messed up things that he's known for.
This is a public supplement announcement. Lynch should remind you that people are people. Support one another, respect each other. You do not dictate anybody's lives. And if you don't agree with someone's decisions, keep it to yourself. Thank you. Okay, so going back into...
also, did you hear about Bad Blood coming back?
Bad Blood? The pay-per-view?
Yeah, there's rumors that they're bringing it back, and Triple H wants to make it Hell in a Cell.
I like it. Oh, I got it.
I actually pitched an idea.
What?
We don't just bring back Hell in a Cell. We bring back Armageddon Hell in a Cell.
I feel like Hell in a Cell...
Mostly because there's been a lot of moving parts going on in WWE Raw specifically. Like, okay, you can go with Cody versus Roman. That's the obvious bet they can go with.
Oh, no. We've already done that. He finished the story.
Yeah, but
the story
never finishes.
So you write a different one.
Yeah. So I actually pitched this Armageddon-based Hell in a Cell match. With all the moving parts coming together after a series of short matches where we culminate with Drew, Punk, Rollins, Priest, Volta, and Braun.
That's a unique six-way.
And I actually had the ending in mind. Rollins is about to get the victory, but Drew crawls his way and pins CM Punk and wins the title and gets his ultimate revenge.
Well, you definitely be closing the narrative on a lot of things, but when I think about Bad Blood, I don't think there's more Bad Blood right now than Drew McIntyre and CM Punk and WWE after what happened on SmackDown in Chicago.
Yeah, no, there's been reports that CM Punk's current status for SummerSlam is touch and go at the moment.
I'm not surprised. 4 more ways.
Also, let's see. There was another report I was hearing about. There's a reason why Jacob. I don't know if you guys brought this up. Jacob Fatu showed up. Hurrah!
I'm about to say, yeah, I was going to switch gears now that we talk about Money in the Bank and opportunity young talent. As I segue back to young talent, I mean, the Samoan Werewolf, as he's known, the former longest reigning MLW. Again, folks, go look up the name. You'll understand why. I'm just saying, this dude is a freak. Anyway, former longest reigning MLW heavyweight champion. As the bloodline continues to show, they got more branches than the learning tree in AEW. Heyo.
Yes.
Jacob Fatu destroyed everybody, and now we know it's official at Money in the Bank. It will be a 6-man tag. Although I know there was 4 on the Bloodline side and 3 on the opposition. You can guess probably what 3 are going to be representing the Bloodline, but hey, let your minds wander. I'm just saying. But Jacob Fatu,
I think I know where it's going.
Well, again, I think several people do, and I think particularly me and JJ know where it's going towards SummerSlam, and I'm still debating whether or not I'm going, or I'm finally going to call one with this.
Oh no, not SummerSlam. In November.
Oh well, yeah, the Bloodline.
Well, yeah, we all know it's going to eventually lead to War Games, and I think
but I'm pretty sure I know who's going to help Roman out.
Well, JJ also gave his own lineup, so if you think you could actually beat the Renegade's mind, go for it real quick.
Okay. We reunite the Prime Bloodline with the Usos, Roman, and Sammy.
That's literally what he said.
Yeah, I know. I figured. I've been watching the shows.
Well, we appreciate that, and great minds think
yes,
alike.
We appreciate your viewership. Yes, I feel like the seeds, though, are going to begin getting planted on SmackDown this week.
Yeah, and Money in the Bank's going to be another inch or 2 in that tree developing. Thicker than the roots of the Bloodline Nally family. To the point,
I have a concern though. WWE also had this concern.
What?
The reason why they kept holding off on Jacob Fatu is because they said we don't want him to overshadow Solo Sikoa. So he just overshadowed Solo Sikoa. Okay, we might have a problem then.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Yeah, did you see what happened on SmackDown?
I said this is the obvious solution. You could either go all out and just risk it all with Solo Sikoa and having him be first in line instead of Jacob Fatu, or we can just split the Bloodline to a 3-way War Games match, 3 for 3 for 3, like they did with the first NXT War Games.
Yeah, but I feel like at this point, War Games makes more sense traditionally with 2 teams because they haven't done that 3-team scenario since the first. To your point, I think it was just an homage. But to the point you're also saying here as well, it'll be back. It's one of those things where I do think Jacob Fatu offers more charisma than Solo Sikoa, because let's be honest here, folks. Solo Sikoa has incredible potential, but he's no Roman Reigns. He's
no Jacob Fatu.
No, and he's turning the Bloodline into a dictatorship versus a monarchy, because with Roman Reigns, he asked for acknowledgement from his family to call himself head on the table. Solo Sikoa demands it from every fucking body. Period.
And I think Roman Reigns returns on Friday.
What?
Because the Bloodline are having an acknowledgement ceremony.
Think about all the seeds that have been planted here in just this past week, Noah. Last week on SmackDown, Solo tells Heyman that Roman isn't coming back. This week's SmackDown is going to be at Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. They're having a Bloodline acknowledgement ceremony, and the commercial keeps saying, who can stop Solo Sikoa's rise to power?
Oh, boy.
And Sika passed away yesterday. Roman's father. One of the 2 men who bestowed the ceremonial lay upon him.
And one of those beats is in Cody Rhodes' pocket, courtesy of the final boss. Wait. This is me going.
Was that what he handed Cody?
I'm pretty damn sure that's what that was. He did say, "Don't you break my heart again." Go ahead.
So you have the ceremony happening. You have the chants that have been permeating in arenas worldwide since the night after WrestleMania.
This is fair.
We want Roman. We want Roman. Solo's telling the audience, you're not going to get Roman Reigns. He's never coming back. Beat drops.
and the Madison Square Garden infrastructure will need to be reassessed.
There's no proof it's going to happen. WWE haven't announced him to be there. Truth be told, I don't want them to.
I agree.
Let
Keep
it
it a
be a
surprise.
complete surprise if it's going to happen. And that definitely seems like more of a Triple H thing to do than a Vince McMahon thing to do.
Especially
Vince would be
after
hyping this shit up.
especially
Roman Reigns returns.
Yeah, especially after a logo pops up on the screen.
So I'm just saying, I think it happens on Friday.
Here's my thing though, before I give it to Eric, because
yeah, he seems like he's eager to speak on this.
Yeah, about to say, and I'm just making the wheels turn probably even more. You remember a while back with the original Bloodline, and Solo Sikoa was just arriving as the silent man. There was a certain moment he confronted Cody saying, "What? Say now, jump what? Say now." But what did Cody say prior to that? You think you're ready, you're not ready. Solo Sikoa clearly thinks right now that he's ready to maybe literally finish Cody, and this is how you get to Cody versus Solo Sikoa at SummerSlam. What if Solo Sikoa loses there, and then somehow his authority is questioned, his power is questioned to the point he tries to reaffirm that power by any means necessary. We talked about earlier, JJ, they're changing his name to Caesar, Hell Caesar, and it was Brutus that stabbed him in the back and took over. If Jacob Fatu doesn't take Solo out first, I can see Solo taking out Jacob Fatu because Jacob Fatu may go out of line.
Well, they haven't changed his name yet. Thank God. Let's hope they don't.
Yeah, right. They're gonna. I've read Roman. I've read Roman freaking history. Okay, WWE. I'm not stupid. Anyway, go ahead, Derek. What was on your mind?
Yeah, look, the ideas you pitched are great, JJ. But I'm pretty certain Roman's coming back at SummerSlam for 3 reasons. One, they're saying they're going to do Solo versus Cody at SummerSlam. And I could get why they would save it for SummerSlam because that's where the whole story started.
Oh, that's
when
true.
Roman charged at the Fiend and Braun Strowman and wrecked everyone and left.
That was when the tribal chief arrived. You're absolutely right.
So what if Roman decides to come back, but he instead helps Cody out, or just says he acknowledges Cody now?
What are you saying? Roman Reigns runs in like a hooded Avenger in favor of Cody versus costing him like every other Bloodline championship match in history?
Yeah.
The opposite?
Yeah.
What?
Well, I'm like, I could probably go George Lucas and say it's like poetry. It rhymes. Everything kind of rhymes after the last one. But like everyone's been expecting when Roman Reigns comes back, they're finally going to give him the face run that he really should have gotten, but Vince kept screwing it up.
Yeah, they fed down
which will be. But here's the thing. I know this is going to be a little bit brief and a little tangent. I've been wanting to see the WyattSicks attack the Bloodline at War Games after.
Well, there could be something to come concerning the history with Bray Wyatt and Roman, but that's a whole different paranormal universe conversation of storytelling. We'll go to WyattSicks here in a moment. But before we get there, before we round out the thoughts here, I will say this. Jacob Fatu is the guy that's going to take the Bloodline into the next era, inning, baseball game, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's a matter of how we get there and whether or not he stabs somebody in the back or he gets stabbed in the back and goes and creates his own empire. That being said, King, what's your thoughts on Jacob Fatu and maybe his, role in the Bloodline? Do we maybe get more teams of it at Money in the Bank because we have the 6-man tag? And where do you see Roman Reigns' return maybe coming and playing into all this? What's your take?
I agree with Eric with this one. I also like JJ's ideas too. I agree it's SummerSlam because that's where it all started with the Tribal Chief. But also, did y'all notice how God was like, as soon as they got in the ring and they saw Jacob Fatu and was like, oh, cricket.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Like, why do I feel like when Jacob gets out of line, and the Bloodline 2.0 ain't safe? Really, they're not safe because Jacob Fatu, like Triple H said, is a game changer.
3.0.
Well, excuse me, 3.0. My bad. Thank you for that, Eric. 3.0. But this role that he's gonna be doing, yeah, might as well just the solo aura, his aura is basically gone as soon as Jacob Fatu came. The aura was gone. It was just gone, destroyed, nowhere to be found, nowhere to be seen. So I can see Jacob being the one that stabs Solo in the back. But also there's a final boss in the loom as well when we haven't heard nor hindsight of him after WrestleMania.
And he's coming after Cody, title or no title, regardless. And I'm just calling it right now. I think it's going to be Cody versus Rock in WrestleMania.
Here's
the
the
last
thing,
thing
though.
I heard about Dwayne is he got injured on the set of one of his movies, so that derailed him some.
Yeah.
Oh, for the love of
I
goodness.
think it was an elbow injury or something. It wasn't major, but enough that it's going to keep him sidelined.
How is this freaking super above jacked Ethan Samoan so damn fragile?
Dude's
First it was
52 years old, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he is.
Years. I guess the body does wear it.
But I do actually have an idea. What if they do Bloodline 4-way, Jacob Fatu, Solo, Roman, and The Rock, and they decide that's who's going to lead the Bloodline, who's going to become the Anoa'i Dynasty's legacy.
That's a whole different form of tribal combat that I don't think WWE even knows how to fit inside a ring.
Like, it's the only way to protect The Rock from risking his health in a singles match.
Well, to be fair, he hasn't had a singles match since fracking WrestleMania the
29.
29, 32 don't count. And I was there live for that one. 32 don't count.
I'm going to give a little bit more love to that, considering what we're going to go into next, considering his back. But the bottom line is this. Roman Reigns is coming back as a babyface. He will be acknowledged, but I do think he's no longer going to be recognized as head of the table. Somebody else is going to be, and I don't think it's going to be Solo Sikoa at this point either. I think there's somebody else pulling the strings, and Paul Heyman is the ace actor in all of this. And at this point, I think only Paul Heyman knows at this point who truly is leading the Bloodline. And by the way, it's not him. It's not him all along. But you know Paul Heyman has to know what's going on or where this is going to a T. And he is just playing, and he's just guiding us along for the ride. What did The Rock say? Buckle up. Rock's going to take our ride for a lifetime. And out of sight, out of mind, arguably right now with Jacob Fatu's arrival and others to follow, I think it's safe to say we're on one hell of a ride and we're not ready to get off it yet. And we're nowhere near the end.
Hikuleo and Zilla.
Yeah, right. And
Zilla Fatu.
And Zilla, of course, also acknowledged the passing of Sika, of course, that we acknowledged earlier. And I'm sure you'll have a 10-bell salute on Open My Night for that as well. But yeah, Jacob Fatu is a game changer, not just for the Bloodline, but for WWE. And that is a fact, Jack. All right. Well, moving on from there, before we go into our next thing, just going to say a couple things real quick. As New Japan continues to set up the G1, the New Japan Soul run continues to move forward with the tournament. We got Yoshihashi and Tomohiro Ishii fighting out for that spot. And I believe that the B bracket is still being determined as far as the finals for that. But I think it's going to come down to TJP and somebody else. I'm actually behind one show. I got to pick up on that. I think NWA is about to go from pretty empowered to fully empowered, because I think Kizzy Page is about to become a one-woman show, as she's going to have to deal with her little sis, Kylie Page, sooner rather than later regarding the Burke, because only one can hold the richest prize in NWA Women's Division, and that is, of course, the Burke, the gold. Still wondering when Camille's going to fall in this ecosystem. With the dismissal of Queen's Quest, one of the longest-reigning factions in Stardom since 2016, I'm very curious to see how the Golden Phoenix rise again. Summer Kamatani still bearing the flag, while the rest of the members, including Asume, are now freelancing in Stardom. And of course, Stardom based on faction, warfare, and identity. Very curious to see what happens to Asume, Lady C, and the other members of Queen's Quest. R.I.P. Queens Forever. Shout out to Blair Davenport, who's also a former queen. Might end up being completely up in the air. We still have to finish up our qualifiers. This Ludwig Kaiser and Sheamus feud has been very entertaining for me, and I definitely see Ludwig Kaiser and Sheamus going one-on-one. Braun Breaker getting his first title opportunity on the main roster since coming in April, only a little bit over 2 months. It's a huge moment for the son, young Steiner. So I think he very well could do it. But if there's anything like Chad Gable, I could sense his emotions getting the better of him because he's a Steiner, and I can see his going to vacation. Say more about that for simply predicting. With Queen Webby back in the fray and TNA, and also Brother Nero, I sense that we're going to get some sort of Hardy's mixed tag team warfare with the system sooner rather than later. And speaking of TNA, we're on the road to some anniversary as we're figuring out now who will challenge Moose for the TNA World Championship, where he'll be facing the best TNA has to offer in a 6-way elimination match. Last man standing wins. All men are eliminated via pinfall or submission. And then, of course, right now, we have our first qualifier this past week in Josh Alexander. And it looks like finally, JJ, Jordan Grace is going to exterminate the Ash ignorance problem from our air because he wants to take care of this problem. Less threatening proud than Arena Shafir, but still annoying to say the least. So I think Slammiversary we're going to be safe. And that's just a few things going on right now in All Things Wrestling, as we'll switch gears now and talk about, again, what happens when a man feels like he's become forgotten, but reminds you exactly he never left. What can we say about these past 2 weeks when it comes to the WyattSicks arrivals and Bo Dallas' confession to himself, looking at himself face to face, a different identity, a tortured soul, an internal anomaly? Are Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy truly one and the same? Let's go ahead and simply talk about what the WyattSicks has been so far in WWE's landscape and really how it's reminded us how Bray Wyatt truly is immortal. Now, JJ and I have talked about verbatim over my net a little bit. We didn't talk about this week. And I know, King, you shared some thoughts in the chat, but there's a reason why this guy calls his series into the Neoverse. He likes to bridge the worlds of cinema with wrestling, particularly Marvel when it comes to storytelling. So, JJ, this might be the best aspect you get of Eric tonight. So, Eric, what's been your thoughts on the WyattSicks arrival and Bo Dallas' arguably confession to himself and the world?
This is important to me to see the WyattSicks work just as much as it's important for Bo Dallas, because Bray Wyatt was one of my favorite creative geniuses in wrestling, and I really wish we could have gotten more. And I will lose my mind if they screw this up.
Fair.
But there's something I wanted to mention about the interview segment we got with that VHS tape.
Go for it.
Did anyone notice the background?
It was kind of hard to see, especially with all the...
Well,
I feel like there was some symbolism with that background, because when it comes to the underlying nature of the creativity...
I know what it is.
Please, what was it?
And someone actually introduced this theory. The background was the funhouse, but someone suggested it's outside the funhouse. Abandon all hope, ye who exit here. Oh. Uncle Howdy's the other side of that house, the outside world.
The other side of that door the whole time?
Yeah, you notice they have the when Wyatt broke that sign up saying "Abandon all hope, ye who exit here," and when Cena went through it, it was the Firefly Funhouse segment cinematic match.
It was the only time I ever went out that door or saw what was on the other side, allegedly.
Yeah, but we never saw. But when I saw an image of it, it showed the outside of the building. It didn't show the sign. It didn't show any of the paintings and pictures that Bray Wyatt had set up. So, and it was blue, like the dark colors inverted. So it led me to. So some people speculate that it might actually be outside the funhouse. Like they just don't want to enter that building because that's where he who rests in.
And you disturb his peace if you do.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't think about that at all. That's some heavy symbolism there. Bray Wyatt was internal, while Uncle Howdy was external?
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
Much like how Sister Abigail's hut is considered sacred to Wyatt, and him and Matt Hardy reviving it all those years ago during their Broken match.
Right, one of the only Broken matches that WWE actually got right, at least for a segment.
Yeah.
What else do you have to say regarding the WyattSicks? Like, what was your overall take when it came to their debut and each member and their identity? Like, when you look at each member's identity, we know who's who. Like, do you think the connection matches with everybody? Like, again, man.
Especially when you consider the fact that they're also playing the characters that you saw in the Funhouse.
Right, and of course, do you think the six though is Bray Wyatt's soul? Is it the lantern, or is it just the metaphor of the manifest?
It could be, but at the same time, Alexa Bliss was still factored into ideas, so she could be the Dark Priestess. But there was something else I wanted to mention. Kevin Dunn quitting was the best thing that ever happened, because that one take shot of the whole scene was awesome.
The side by side, and literally you couldn't tell if there was just two clips spliced together. It was perfect. And like I said, you literally could just do that by splicing two shots together, perfectly cropped. There's technology. I mean, I could do that, but I'm too lazy. Well, Eric,
I'm talking about when they got the camera and they just showed everything going on with the WyattSicks having devastated the backstage area. Yeah. I was like, oh god, one take. Oh god, if Kevin Dunn was here, he'd be like doing like.
It would be more takes than the end of a Jigsaw movie where you see the victims of the death games.
Yeah, but like when someone made that connection that they saw that it was the outside of that, it was the Funhouse that Bro and Uncle Hattie were having their interview in, I was like, and someone suggested, what if it's outside the house? I was like, that is definitely something Bray Wyatt would have pitched.
I think it's safe to say that Bray Wyatt is truly honored, and I think Bray Wyatt is definitely proud of your vision and interpretation of his creative work through his younger, let's keep in mind, younger brother leading on his passion, Bo Dallas. So, Eric, thank you for that. Well, JJ, follow that. What was your take so far on this week's segment? Do you think we're going to get maybe more tapes? Like, is it just going to be Nikki Cross delivering, or excuse me, I forgot. She's not Nikki Cross. She's freaking sister. What is she? She's the witch. She's the witch, right?
Abby the Witch?
Yes.
Abby the Witch?
Yeah, she's.
I kept thinking it was either going to be her or Alexa Bliss that were Abby the Witch and
like
Nikki Cross or someone else.
Well, like you said, you think that Alexa's going to be Sister Abigail, but honestly, I don't know if Nikki Cross is a bridge between both. Because again, Nikki Cross right now is. I love it. JJ, your take on the WyattSicks continued presentation, Eric's interpretation, your thoughts, man. Take it away real quick.
First of all, can we give Michael Cole all the credit in the world for selling what a VHS tape was to people? That shit had to be dying. He's like, for those of you out there that are younger viewers, we used these about 25 years ago. This is called a VHS tape. Yeah. We have to now see if we can locate a VCR to play it on. I'm like, God damn you, Cole.
Well, to be fair,
as a guy who does movie reviews, this is the 30th anniversary of The Lion King.
Yeah, as a guy who does movie reviews and has quite the extensive library of films, like just the fact that he sold the VHS tape was great.
Yeah.
I literally have some of the old Disney clamshells up here, still sealed in their plastic.
What the
hell?
I
found at thrift stores.
Dang, JJ.
Because no one's got a VCR anymore. So if I can find them still sealed, it's like those are collector's items.
I suppose, but
pieces. But
I'm pretty sure you could find a VCR DVD combo player at your local eBay.
But how many people actually have a DVD player anymore? Most people use a Blu-ray or a 4K.
That's fair. Anyway,
or just use Apple TV.
But I thought the segment was great, and it made me want future segments like this.
Yeah.
With the split personalities of everybody else.
That's what I was thinking.
Nikki Cross talking to Abby. Huskus talking to Gacy. Mercy talking to Dexter. Ramblin' Rabbit talking to Rowan. Like, I want more of this, or just let it be Uncle Howdy conduct the interview to each of the people behind the mask and what led them to the WyattSicks.
There was one thing I wanted to mention. Sorry.
Because the problem that I have in all of this, and the one thing we talked a little bit about it on open mic night, the one thing that has me scared about this whole development and the angle is, are they going to wrestle with their masks or without their masks? Because let's be real, Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy specifically have been painted as being goofy as a pet coon.
Mm-hmm.
So if they become unmasked to wrestle, that is going to instantly kill their mystique and aura. Unless we can have some kind of interview as to what brought them to the WyattSicks, what brought them to this position they're in now.
Take it over the permanent mask of their former identity.
It's going to kill everything. Nikki Cross as well hasn't exactly been painted in the best light. I mean, she literally stood there in the center of a ring for a battle royal and did nothing.
I still don't understand that choice, by the way.
Well, okay, I actually remembered something. So there was actually a segment. I had to find this out recently that Nikki Cross, when in her weird state she was in, I think someone pointed this out. They said they noticed in one of the backgrounds that they did, that Y was known to do, that Nikki Cross was talking to Dexter Lumis, I think.
Oh, so maybe there's a little bit of a communication of sorts.
Probably, I'm not sure though.
Well, again, that battle royal though, I'm pretty sure was before the documentary. I thought the documentary's end, of course, that we watched together, and you all freaking bawled, was like the first, tease of the WyattSicks, as they're now known. 6, not the number, but 6 itself. And again, the name itself has context in its own meaning, in your own interpretation of what that means towards Bray Wyatt and his ongoing memory. So
I do hope they bring up Luke Harper.
I think they have to. I mean, they already got the homage. Eric Rowan is sporting that Bludgeon Brothers hammer. Of course, I saw the Bludgeon Brothers debut on SmackDown against the Usos when they destroyed them. And I always hold that near and dear to my heart. R.I.P., of course, to the late, great John Fever. But it's just one of those things right now, to JJ's point. Yeah, how do you separate the creative showcasing outside the ring versus the performance of the athletes inside the ring? Triple H said himself, we're not trying to make this all spooky gaga booga 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 booga. We're trying to make this more genuine. It's more of a personality alteration with all these individuals than just in-ring character. And I think the very real note here, to JJ's point, how and who of the WyattSicks is not one, but all or some of them. How do you bring them in the ring? When, how, against who, under what environment? We already saw what The Fiend used to do. I don't think we're going to get something that far-fetched. We saw what happened with Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy against L.A. Knight. R.I.P. His last match. I feel like they're going to take a different take on this, but I'm just not sure what. And it's
okay. I actually have a report on that. They said they're trying to go back to basics. They want to bring back the cult group of the Wyatt family. Go back to believing in the supernatural, not becoming the supernatural.
Right.
If I was to take the best guess how they're going to go about this, I would reminisce it to Resident Evil 7, the Baker's family.
Okay, I know what you're talking about there, because again,
I have no clue.
It's a video game reference, basically a family that was trapped.
I know enough to know that Resident Evil is a video game series, but I know nothing about the actual game. I never played it.
So, basically Resident Evil 7 was the return to form, and it involves this cult, this disturbed, morbid family called the Baker's family that are really crazy and all that.
Because of a little girl.
And basically Chad Gable is going to be the Ethan Winters of this story.
Yeah, the guy that saves the family that are trapped under the manifestations of a possessed child.
Yeah.
Welcome to the family, son.
Oh, by the way, they did actually it turns out when we look back on those QR codes, they were teasing they were going after Chad Gable because they said you no longer say thank you, and there was the CG thing.
I seen that one.
I remember
how
that.
Chad Gable used to say thank you a lot, and then they said you stop saying thank you.
No more thank yous. Yeah, it's just I really wonder now where you go from here. Also, what the hell happened to Pat McAfee?
I think it's because his father passed away.
Yeah, we know that we talked about that earlier. I think we were talking about in terms of what was the original plan.
Right, because again,
I think he was supposed to be there. You know, they were just doing the thing on his show, but
yeah,
right. And I figured there was going to be some follow up for that. And I imagine there is going to be follow up once Pat McAfee's family gets past, the loss. And again, my condolences to their family as well as the Natalya family. But yeah, guys, Eric and JJ, it's very unique what we are facing in this era, Paul Beck era, with the WyattSicks. And they definitely don't need championships. They definitely don't need to be heavily showcased in ring. And the fact that right now, since their attack with all those extras backstage, the only one we've seen physically is Nikki Cross, who basically is torturing Chad Gable right now. And Chad Gable is in a nightmare he may never wake up from and probably don't even know, what part do I play in this? And so far, he's the only victim that has been continued to be targeted by the WyattSicks. But still a lot of special disbelief, especially considering we know now he's in Money in the Bank.
Or do they need a championship?
Well, that's another thing I've been thinking about too, because
go ahead, spitball, Noah, because I've got somewhere I'm going with this.
Well, I consider, it was Bray Wyatt's richest toy. And at one point, Bo Dallas, Bray Wyatt, they were hoping to be in this business together. They wanted to do things together. They want to be champions together. It is one of those things, though, where you think about, shared personality, similar traits. You literally talked about what Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis was, and let's just call it what it is, previous lives. Maybe those two become like the tag champs, and that's an homage to what Bray and Bo could be, because I don't think Bo Dallas is here anymore, as we saw. He accepted Uncle Howdy, basically, what I interpreted from that videotape. Uncle Howdy right now is running what Bo Dallas was, and that's why Bo Dallas now is having probably the best character development of his entire career. What Bo Dallas said in that single video clip was the best work he's done his entire career, bar none. But that's just me figured out loud. I think the tag title is an homage to what those two brothers could have been together if they get those. Other than that, it'd be really weird right now for me to think of Uncle Howdy being, I guess, the mastermind of this group, if we're calling it that or thinking like that, while we're looking outside of Private Funhouse. It'd be crazy for me to think right now him being the World Champion, I clearly think it's going to be Gunther by Bash in Berlin, and I'll say that more for simply predicting. But before we get to JJ's spot, and I know, Eric, you still have a lot to say because I know how passionate we are about this, we haven't heard anything from this gentleman. So, King, your thoughts on the WyattSicks continued presentation development with Nikki Cross in this tape? We hear from Bo Dallas. Where you think we go from here? What do you hope for more of next? Do you have anything to add regarding what Eric and JJ said regarding right now everything we've seen? What's your thoughts on this?
I got nothing to add with these two because their ideas were spectacular. Loved it. I got nothing to add on both of those. So that's that. But I do want to see more because as far as Gacy, Loomis, Nikki, and Bo, this is the best work that they've done as being part of the WyattSicks. I love it. I want to see more. I just don't. I'm like I said, like they said, I'm kind of scared too. I don't want their aura to go away. I want them for them to keep this mystique going, keep us invested because. Like Bray Wyatt was one of those creative geniuses that had you, tune in every single week, every single chance that he was on, and you listen and you digest what he's saying or what he's done, and that's kind of what the WyattSicks with his memory just basically right there on our front of our TV screens. Like I want to see more. I am full invested in this WyattSicks. Like I want to see more.
I actually had remember how I mentioned how I said I want the WyattSicks to go after the bloodline after War Games, specifically Roman's bloodline.
Yes.
The reason why I say that is because for two reasons. One, Bray Wyatt did proclaim back in 2015 after their feud saying, "We will dance again."
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta remember, without Wyatt, Roman doesn't become the tribal chief. He was the last Universal Champion.
That's
5 years later.
absolutely fair. That's fair.
And then like this idea I had was that they showed the clips of Roman's reign of terror before distorting and going out, and then they just say for Bray, and the WyattSicks just rain terror on the bloodline.
Particularly the Usos, because I do think Jimmy and Jay will reunite, and Roman, to your point, because if Roman comes back as babyface and tries to usurp Solo Sikoa and what he's trying to be, then maybe that's how you segue Roman Reigns away from the bloodline to beat previous demons that he thought he would never face again of a whole different sort. And maybe that's how he also comes back together with Jimmy and Jay. Jay said, I don't want nothing to do with that. But I fear that, Jay, you will be.
Yeah, and I just like to bring up, like, it's one of the reasons why I said I need this to work. And if they can get over enough and get a strong momentum heading into November, they don't need the titles right now, I feel. But I do get why they would probably be interested in the titles, because Bray Wyatt did call the world title the Holy Grail.
Which is fair, because you have that. You have the most prestigious thing imaginable, even though, again, he called it his toy. JJ, I know your wheels have been thinking too. I mean, again, we let's just be honest here. As professional wrestling fans, as human beings who followed this gentleman, this is the most biggest thing we're invested in right now in the entire wrestling business. JJ, go ahead. What's your further thoughts you want to add regarding what Eric said or what King said, or maybe Roman and the Usos taking on this versus taking on bootleg bloodline 2.0, become 3.0, now 4.0 in 2026. Go ahead.
So the reason I bring up the titles is because there's one championship specifically, Noah, me and you talk about it all the time, that has been seriously struggling pretty much since its inception. Which title would that be?
The women's tag team titles.
Did anybody else notice the fact that they used the shot of Alexa Bliss on the truck when Chad Gable arrived?
Yeah, I saw
that.
I did mention the
Let
idea.
Let me ask you, Noah, who's going to defeat the Unholy Union? A couple of witches?
Ooh.
Okay.
And would this not be the type of team to bring some serious longevity and prestige to a seriously floundering title?
Considering Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss in the previous life were former women's tag champions.
Because once you're able to defeat a couple of witches to take the titles, how do you get them off of people that are involved in the Wyatt family?
You would have
to literally going to take like, and I can't believe I'm jinxing by saying this, but it's going to take like a Charlotte Flair type of person to be able to take the titles off of someone involved with the Wyatts, because she's like a Cena-esque character. She comes in, she gets a title.
The thing is, though, Charlotte Flair has no correlation as far as an org connection to any.
And I'm not saying her specifically, but it's going to take something of that level.
But again,
to beat the WyattSicks females.
But that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, and that might be the biggest risk factor. Everything in WWE has a vulnerability and eventually suffers a setback, a defeat. So how do you protect, like you said, guys, how you protect that aura when that situation presents itself in accordance to the story of Bray Wyatt being immortal? Because that's really what this is at the forefront here. Again, it started back with the documentary. So when does something immortal no longer feel immortal, but doesn't necessarily feel completely moral? I think that's the biggest unknown we're going to try and figure out by the end of this WyattSicks saga. I say saga because I don't think this is going to leave any time soon.
No,
hopefully.
And it shouldn't. It shouldn't. This should at least last a good 2 to 3 years. This should last as long as the original bloodline run,
if not more.
If it's done right, because you've always got the perspective and the possibility of new members.
Right.
And yes, let's not go NWO about how that could oversaturate and water it down, but let's just think about the fact that you've got Braun Strowman still on the roster, who's got that Bray Wyatt connection.
Right.
You've got Randy Orton on the roster, who's got that Wyatt family connection. You've got broken Matt Hardy working on a per appearance basis in another company, who could very easily come back over and continue the broken gimmick as part of the WyattSicks.
And we got
which could potentially bring Will-O-the-Wisp in there as well.
Right.
That's right. There's another 4 gimmicks.
It's just
a family to that.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how you work towards those, and why they have a WyattSicks. That's actually 5. We are now 5. Hi, Lex. JJ, this is Lex. I'm our enforcer. He is disciplined in mixed martial arts as well as learning multiple languages. He is also a game designer. He's also been part of the ATW fan since 2020 when we first established ourselves. Lex, meet my friend JJ, the, of course, brainchild of Open Mic Night Reinvented and a great wrestling fan. How are you, Lex?
Yeah, I'm good. Just finished my online class, so I'm.
He's also on the other side of the world. That's why he's got sunlight. Well, I hope the online class went well, and you have come to the pre-ultimate main event, where we're going to, of course, preview some of the biggest matches for Forbidden Doors. We've been talking about the WyattSicks. Like, what is the purpose behind them, and what can it be in the long haul? How do you protect what they are meant to be? And what has been your thoughts so far in what Bo Dallas told in that VHS tape? Have you watched Monday Night Raw this week?
I watched it. I watched a few clips of it, so I haven't grasped so much on Monday Night Raw because it's 3 hours. So it's
right. But did you see the Bo Dallas clip particularly?
Yeah, I've seen the Bo Dallas clip. I mean, he explained everything that he wants to become like his brother Bray Wyatt. So. What else? He's trying to continue where they left off since after Bray's passing. So for me, my thoughts is they need to be protected at all costs, because this is like Bray's vision, and Bo Dallas is basically, or Uncle Howdy, as you say, is carrying the entire legacy of Bray Wyatt. So to me, man, I don't know what's behind that VHS tape. So for all of us here, we went through the VHS tapes. For those who were in the later areas, we're like, what the heck is this thing? So yeah, basically we're now entering the Renaissance era, the pro wrestling cinema, as we call it in the modern times. So yeah, I'm excited for what's in store, what storylines, who are they targeting mostly, and who is the mysterious 6th member, or is it just Bray Wyatt himself in spirit? So that's basically my thoughts on it.
JJ, there was something I really wanted to bring up since you mentioned all the past Wyatt history.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman said this, though: anyone who came in contact with the Fiend changes.
Right.
And there's 2 people I can think of that definitely changed when they fought the Fiend. The Prince and the Messiah. And I actually did pitch this idea that Finn Balor was actually the secret herald of the Fiend after he fought the Fiend, and how he was sent to NXT to poison it, to destroy it, because Triple H and Bray had a brief encounter, and Bray was like, I'll just screw his creation up.
Well, Seth Rollins also back now, of course, to claim the title that he reestablished. To your point, I don't see WyattSicks owning the World Championship, but I definitely could see a unique saga coming out with the fact that Seth freaking Rollins was involved with The Fiend in one of the most hellacious rivalries during The Fiend's run.
And the most stupidest when you think about the Hell in a Cell ending.
We don't talk about that match for reasons. Like we don't talk about Bruno. There you are, JJ. That was for you, brother. But also to your point, going back to tag titles, men tag titles, Finn Balor and JD, they are the tag team champions now. Congrats to JD on getting his first tag title.
I feel like I'm the only person that's actually happy about this because I like JD McDonough.
Yeah, it's finally his first title, and he literally got it with his teacher. May I remind you that Finn Balor literally taught JD McDonough. These two faced at one point during NXT UK. My NXT!
Yes,
I know,
sorry.
I've done my homework. I know this.
I'm proud of you. But yeah, it's just right now, there's so much suspension of disbelief with the WyattSicks in this single VHS tape. What happens next week? Who shows up? When and where?
Hey, can we point out the elephant in the room that what the hell? They just murdered Chad Gable and he just went up and and he came back like he came back. He was like Jesus from Easter Sunday.
Or Wolverine had the freaking adamantium skin.
I mean, he has to win Money in the Bank now. What else can destroy him? He literally suffered a gunshot to the head.
I beat that.
He's back wrestling a week later, and he qualifies for the match.
That's not Chad. That's not Chad Gable.
He has to win the belt.
That's not Chad Gable. He's a freaking cyborg.
Yeah,
that's his twin brother Eric.
That's basically Shorty G dressed as Chad Gable.
Oh gosh.
Oh, you brought up Shorty G.
I'm gonna boot you for that in a moment if you're not careful.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought that's what they were gonna do. I figured they were killing off Chad Gable and they would resurrect Shorty G.
We don't need stupid ideas from that creative. Not even on a VHS tape. If that isn't on VHS tape, it needs to be buried in the same den so that the ET video game was found. Just saying.
No, that needs to be locked away in Area 51.
People know how to get into Area 51, and some people still live to tell the tale, I'm sure, so that won't probably work. But, yeah, it's just really baffling and unique and almost heartwarming to really figure out what we put into figuring out what the WyattSicks represents and what it can mean. And the fact of the matter is, we only know they picked one target, Chad Gable. Pat McAfee, suspension of disbelief. Who's next and where, when, how, what, who, stage? No idea.
We'll have to tune into Raw next week.
We have to tune into Raw.
The last stick to a brand. I think they should just go anywhere.
I have a feeling that next week they will reveal the tape.
You really think they're gonna reveal something else? Another tape?
No, probably the tape that they gave Michael Cole because that thing just left a big cliffhanger on it.
Oh, you think they stopped playing the tape?
They might hint another tape of it because they're targeting multiple people who are associated with Bray Wyatt. So
I think we got a fair amount of what Bo Dallas meant to say in that tape. That I do wonder what else does a man that wants to be remembered, not forgotten, need to confess that he already hasn't.
Remember, this is a long-term story. Remember when the B team imitated the broken?
We don't talk about B team. We don't.
No. The broken gimmick, with Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Bo Dallas recreated the Bray Wyatt thing with the lantern, and it's a foreshadowing.
Maybe, but again, the real wife relationship, that's a whole different, thread to this narrative. And like JJ said, I'm definitely going to be looking at highlights. Like I said, I watched the highlights more verbatim. And I do like Eric's idea because you did bring up Willow. You brought up broken Matt Hardy. And of course, not in WWE, they are in TNA. If the Wyatt
NXTNA.
Right, NXTNA. I got to get used to saying that. Still getting used to that, bro. But the thing is, if they're bound two people with the history of Bray Wyatt. Now, I don't think that has to be bound necessarily to one company if WWE is opening this prohibited portal to other entities. Yes, JJ?
Right. And I forget who said it. Forgive me. I'm still getting used to everybody. Somebody just brought up the whole about how they shouldn't be constricted to Raw. Should go. Okay, that was Eric.
Yes.
Considering everybody's affiliations and where they came from, should the Wyatts decide to go down to NXT? Because that was Joe Gacy's old stomping ground.
And that's the rumor.
And maybe fuck around with Ava, who was a part of his schism tree, to do a little bit of damage. With the NXTNA prohibitive portal, that is how you could get Broken Matt Hardy to encounter them again.
Mind you, everyone came from NXT in that faction.
That's true as well. And
it's true.
I do wonder if the former, because we're talking about these people, they have donned a new identity. They are no longer the former selves, right? The former Joe Gacy, does he still linger? Shout out to Cranberries. Does he still linger in this NXTNA era? And is there still some bad blood with particularly the environment because they let that schism tea rot from the inside? Or is it just, a forgotten, fable of a man once known as Joe Gacy, where once he was upside down, now he's right side up, if that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense, but I use Gacy as my prime example because the others were on the main roster when this new thing started. He's the only one that came from NXT to join the WyattSicks.
That's absolutely fair. Well, either way.
And you got to figure the schism in of itself was kind of cult-esque.
It was.
You've got that whole similarity there. Yeah, exactly.
Stop it, JJ! Freedom face paint. Non-copyright.
Hey, just remember, out of that horrid angle, just atrocious, almost worse than Katie Vick angle, we've got the return of the grizzled young vets.
Well, out of everything bad should come something good, such as the law.
And we've got Ava on arguably her greatest run right now.
Yeah, following her family's footsteps and guiding the business from outside the ring.
And we'll see what happens with Joe Gacy in this new role.
And we'll see it with the rest of the WyattSicks as well. Well, one thing's for sure regarding Jacob Fatu, Bloodline Bootleg, Bloodline 2.0 into 3.0, Roman's arrival, and WyattSicks. It's definitely an interesting time to be a WWE fan once again after a long fucking time, and I'm proud to say I truly am once again. And with that being said, before we go into our main event, as is tradition here in the ATW Impromptu, where we preview some of the biggest matches and stories and hype up Forbidden Door a little bit, and then talk a little bit more about AEW to follow as well. Just a couple of quick other things. Of course, we talk about Prohibited Portals, talk about Forbidden Doors. We know that AJ Styles will be taking on Marufuji and Pro Wrestling Noah. Marufuji, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, a founding pillar, a father of professional wrestling and pro wrestling, Noah. We know that Io Sky will take on Utami Hayashita in Marigold, Queen versus Queen, as it looks like WWE continuing to expand into the Asian market. And we also know that Shayna Baszler is returning home and where she truly is respected and owns her craft. That's right, shout out to the Queen of Spades, back in Bloodsport, courtesy of Josh Burnett. And I do think there will be more NXTNA crossover, whether it's male or female, yet to be determined. We talked about Natalya earlier, potentially going on the Slammiversary. I do think there will be more of a knockout inception with the women's division of NXT sooner rather than later. Speaking of the women of NXT, we know now that it will be Lola Vice taking on Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship at Heatwave. We have a fatal four-way now for the NXT Championship. Open Femi is going to give Wesley this last chance for the North American Championship, and I cannot fucking believe it for the tag titles. Fuck me sideways. We have Nathan Fraser and Axiom defending the NXT.
Yep. I know where this is going.
Against Chase U. Freaking Hudson and Andre Chase, the Rich Holland, the fucking 3, the 2. That just made me mad. That made my blood boil.
Wait,
You've also got Sol Ruka versus Kehlani Jordan.
Before?
Oh yeah, the Silveruga, of course. That's Soul Snatcher. So damn incredible for it.
Oh, I just got an update about Nathan Frazier.
What?
He defeated Akira Tozawa in the speed tournament in the semifinals. So possibility we'll see him in Andrade.
I mean, it'd be a great 3-minute showcase for whatever that's worth. And of course, Money in the Bank is around the corner. We know that half the women are qualified. We know that I believe 4 of the 6 men are qualified. And we also know, of course, coming up, we're building up to the end of the Owen. And we also know we got Blood and Guts. We know the G1 Climax is on the horizon, along with the 5-star Grand Prix. And NWA, of course, is getting ready for the chase once again. I think it's the 76th anniversary, also up in August. And we know that Mission Pro continues their way for the Atlantia tournament for the Exodus Pro promotion. Of course, becoming the next Mission Pro show as well. I should have watched the trailer. That's all right. Again, this is my show. Just simple. All right. Well, that being said, we've had a lot of fun. We had a lot of free-form chat. We discussed a lot primarily about WWE, NXT, TNA. Eric, I know it's usually when you bid yourself a fine dude. So any parting words, my friend? It's been a pleasure.
Let's see. If I ever get on the open mic night, I just need you to give the heads up. I will bring the chaos, and I will probably humiliate Noah right here. But
get ready for some clips.
Shot at Flex.
Yeah. But yeah, I totally did do a segment where I changed the lyrics to a song and added Yay Alley.
And there it is.
Yeah.
Got him.
You know what? you know what? You are unbelievable considering she is on a undetermined hiatus from professional wrestling. Damn it! I wish the bunny all the best in her. I wish all the best in her adventures in and out of horror and skating. Again, do what's ever happy for you. Sometimes professional wrestling, it's only a part of you. It doesn't have to just define you. 19 years taking bumps. I don't blame her one bit. God bless you. Anyway, for the last time, I hope, Eric, truly, you stop that!
Anyways, I was also going to say, with all the WWE TNA crossover, I just had a thought about the WyattSicks.
What?
What if they brought in Rosemary?
That would be completely up. But then again, a person that's lost everything that has nothing. What is Rosemary? That's fair, actually. That would be wild.
Also, wait, isn't there a villainous thing called Rosemary's Baby?
There is.
Is that in religion or is that a movie?
Just
a
a
late
movie.
60s movie.
Okay, then we can just do that.
Fair enough.
Let's see. Check out my other content on the NRE networks and whatnot. I'm sure Noah will post the link tree. Let's see. I'm on Twitter a lot. I'm still calling it that. Suck it, Elon. Let's
Go
see.
suck a blue too, Elon.
You stop that.
There's the line I've missed.
Okay. Hey, Lex. I think he actually is because they just welcomed their 12th child.
Oh God.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that backfired.
Wait, did they name a child again after an alphabet that we don't even understand anymore?
I have no idea. I forgot to look up what the name of the child was.
But still, hope we don't pronounce that name alphabetically or something.
Look, go mass AI. That's stupid nonsense. That doesn't matter here.
Yeah, and let's see. But yeah, JJ, how was it dealing with me for once?
It wasn't as bad as I expected.
That's putting it politely.
I'll just have to try harder.
You realize what you did, right? Now Aaron's going to push the envelope next time you deal with him.
Yeah.
You have to remember, I deal with James on a regular.
That's
you do. Yeah, you do.
Basically,
and me and A-Train freaking made Noah completely leave the show when he was on with the whole alley thing.
Got him.
JJ, here's
Got
the thing.
him.
I've broken James before. He'll tell you I've broken him.
Yeah, this guy is the definition of chaos for a reason. James is
basically if Eric has the nuclear weapon, that's him.
accurate.
I would have used it by now if I wanted to.
Don't. I'm just gonna say that. Don't. All right.
Okay. Also, last but not least, for some reason, June 28th here in Maryland is going to do the 4th of July celebration because, of course, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I mean time.
What?
Yeah, so I'll see y'all again next time. See y'all, and JJ, if you ever have me on there, I might have to do it 2 weeks from now because I'll be home alone that day.
We will see what happens, good sir.
Okay. Also, tell Jeff Meacham I am not sorry for the Jillian Hall let it go idea.
He's bad at something.
Hold on. They just released
What's that? What? You're looking at the graphic?
Willow Nightingale and Tam Nakano versus Chris Statlander and Momo Watanabe.
Ow. Is that on the countdown?
Wait. 0 hour.
Yeah, that's what I figured. 0 hour. All right, so that's starting.
But still, it's a banger.
Well, yeah, Momo. Well, I'm gonna get people on the way. They'll die. Momo, you traitor. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was Eric Brown, the bearer of all things news, the bringer of chaos, our inquirer. I said his name.
Forgot to mention. I just heard that.
Say his name and he appears.
Yes. Rhea Ripley and Buddy have tied the knot.
Finally.
Congratulations.
Yay.
So that's why Buddy was taken out last Dynamite or something.
Lex, what were you gonna say before he had disappeared? Saying wait, what?
0 hour. There's
it was just announced the 0 hour match. The Stardom crossover.
Yeah, they're doing the women's tag match on the 0 hour.
Should be fun. Hype up Chris.
All right, take care, y'all.
Been a pleasure, man. God bless you and your family. Take care.
No problem. Take care.
Yeah, love you. Appreciate you. Nothing but love for your ATW. And then there was 4. But first off,
can we talk the fact that Joe Hendry got trending 1 million after his appearance in NXT?
Stop saying his name. Yeah,
he's now everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if he what do you call this? Goes on the local news or something.
He's already been on Busted Open. He's also going to be on Chris Van Vliet's podcast. But yeah, JJ, you got a thought? Hold on, Lex.
The second most viewed WWE clip since WrestleMania.
Everybody believes in Joe Hendry. Except this.
Except King.
Blasphemy. All right, guys. Well, it's been fun. And to Eric's point, that time match, of course, will hype up Chris Statlander and Will Nigo, who will face each other one-on-one on Beach Break, the Wednesday night Dynamite, literally following Forbidden Door this coming weekend. That's next week, Wednesday. We're also going to have Pop versus the winner of Dragon vs. Dragon. And we're going to have Jeff Jarrett versus Wildcard. And if you watch Dynamite,
that match right there.
What?
American Dragon versus Japanese Dragon. That's going to be a hard-hitting match.
Well, why don't you go ahead and kick things off? Because as I like to do usually here in our conclusion interview Impromptu, we're going to just talk about a few of the bigger matches here that definitely have our hype and also have our interest, whether it's the story tone or the wrestling quality. But if you want a full card preview, folks, stay tuned, of course, for City Bit with me, JJ, and a bunch of other friends as we will completely preview and predict the entire card, including the 0 hour, because we honor the 0 hour respect, because those talent deserve that. You earn a spot wherever you can. You use the best way to spot you can. So stay tuned for that 8 p.m. Standard Time Friday night across the different multiverse of media. That being said, like you first talked about, as we know, the Owens, they are continuing to move forward. And of course, we've been moving forward with the tournaments. We now know that Pac is weighing the winner of Dragon vs. Dragon. And we just talked about the other 2 matches that will be next week, Wednesday. So, Lex, first time ever, it's Dragon Gate versus, well, let's call it as we see it. Friggin' America. It's freaking Dragon vs. Dragon. It's the American Giant Brian Danielson versus Rampage Strategy Takagi. It's the former WWE the people's the world's champion, friggin' guy that beat Kazuchika Okabe a submission, first time seen since Shinsuke Nakamura, taking on the multiple time never openweight champion and former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. If Shingo wins, you got Dragon Gate versus Dragon Gate in the next round, Pop versus Shingo. If Brian Danielson wins, then it's Brian Danielson versus Pac in the semifinals. What's your take on this?
For me, I would go with AEW with Brian Danielson. Sorry, Shingo, I like his style, but to me, this is Brian Danielson's final countdown run.
Do.
Yeah, copyright reasons, we might get paid by $200,000 for something.
I don't have that type of money. Shut up.
But yeah, Brian Danielson must win this tournament at all costs because he says this is his last year as his professional wrestling run. It will end in October.
Yeah,
which is very very soon. So if he wins it all, he gets a shot at a world title, if I'm correct.
At Wembley Stadium at
AEW.
But yeah, I would want to see him, go one last time for gold, and that's it.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, again, I know we're going to further dissect this and simply predict on Friday did this. So I'm going to go to the King next. I mean, again, King, when we first heard this match, we were like, what the hell? And then they told us that Forbidden Door, also another what the hell moment. To Lex's point, it is a WNGPW as Forbidden Door is literally about these two companies colliding in head-to-head competition and sometimes together, as of course that women's tag match illustrated. What's your take on this first time ever singles encounter? Brian Danielson with wins already over the likes of Kazuchika Okada, Minoru Suzuki. He has yet to face, which I still find baffling, Hiroshi Tanahashi. And he also, of course, has a win over Zack Sabre Jr. But what's your take on this match? First time against Shingo Takagi, who's shown no form of respect to him.
I agree with Lex here. I do believe Brian Danielson takes the win here. Like I said, no offense, Shingo, you still my guy. You still one of my favorite dudes to watch in NJPW. But when it comes to main event, when it comes to getting a title shot at Wembley, especially for Brian Danielson's final career as a full-time wrestler, yeah, Brian deserves the win here. I mean, Brian, I feel like Wrestler of the Year gets basically thrown around a lot when it comes to Brian, and it's basically no alluded to here. Still the same exception. Brian Danielson has still been that Wrestler of the Year that continues to put on banger of matches, but always some in the biggest matches, like MJF last year, for example, at Revolution, always comes up short. So I feel like here against Shingo, I feel like this will advance him to the semis to face Pac next week at Beach Break.
Yeah, that's fair. And JJ, to King's point, Brian Danielson, who said his last Odyssey was going to be epic. How epic is something if all you're remembered for is losing? Let's look at the track record here. He lost against Will Ospreay at Dynasty. He lost Anarchy in the Arena at Double or Nothing. He's had some great moments, but again, when it matters, he's come up short. It's almost like this tournament is his last hurrah, his last chance to have that big opening moment. But could it be bigger than his final match that could be taking place in Tacoma, Washington at Wrestle Dream? So it seems. But what's your take on this first number one encounter? And you've seen Shingo a little bit from our NJPW watch-alongs that we've done. And of course, he now recently has been involved in AEW. And Shingo said verbatim, he is here to bring home the AEW World Championship to New Japan while competing in the G1 Climax, which, of course, he's also part of. So what's your take on this?
Well, I definitely think Brian needs the victory here, but I'm not 100% sold on him taking the Owen.
Right.
You know that. The other two gentlemen probably don't know and may or may not understand my reasoning, but almost as much as Brian needs to win this tournament, there's another man who had a damn near 10-minute uncensored interview go online last week.
Boy.
That has a wild card opponent who deserves this just as much as Brian does.
If not more.
as it was 25 years ago this year that his tag team partner lost his life.
Owen Hart talks about those connections with his kids.
I know a lot of people dismiss Jeff Jarrett these days.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to do it. Right, Noah?
Yes. But yeah.
Tony Khan, for all of his flaws, and trust me, I've pointed out more than a couple on my variety of shows.
Yes, you have.
If there's one thing I can count on Tony Khan to do, it's to create a feel-good moment. I could see Jeff Jarrett defeating Bryan in the finals, as crazy as that is. I see the look on A-Train's face. Hold on and hear me out. Let me cook for a second.
Everyone be quiet.
Go ahead.
I could see Jarrett defeating Bryan in the finals, as crazy as that sounds. Being awarded the title and the trophy from Martha Hart. And then saying, for me, it was never about Wembley. It was about this moment right here. And giving Bryan the Wembley moment because of the match that the two of them would have. Because you think about the way Bryan wrestles, it's very much like Owen. So you'd basically be getting a Jeff Jarrett versus Owen Hart match in the finals.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Have Jeff go over, and then, like I said, it was never about Wembley for me. I know I don't have that shot at Swerve. You can beat him. You take the title opportunity and go to Wembley. And then, effectively, you have just created two powerful moments. Jeff Jarrett getting that babyface pop that WWE should have given him in 1999 on the heels of Owen's passing. And the moment of Bryan becoming champion in Wembley Stadium. Even though we all know Bryan's going to have to drop the belt come Wrestle Dream.
So it seems.
Mm-hmm.
You still give him that moment at Wembley with the final countdown.
They got two more times. You get two more times out of Bryan Danielson. You get it at Wembley, you get it at Wrestle Dream. That's it. Period. But
so,
also,
like I said, I know it sounds crazy.
Yes, it does.
But it's the type of thing I could see Tony doing. And if he does it, he might just redeem himself to me a little bit.
Not to mention a fan base. That's fair. I mean, as you would say,
I like that.
That's extremely fair and humbling. And honestly, I can agree with that. I really can, because it's one of those things where a tournament in itself has value, but what it represents has even more value than what you can get from it in winning. That's a one-of-a-kind scenario that you don't see nowadays in any sort of competition, really, because everyone's always after the prize. Why do people compete? For the prize. But instead, it's for pride, truly pride. That's a one-of-a-kind thing to see in this wrestling business, if that was to be. And honest to God, I hope you're right, but I'm just going to say this real quick before we move on. JJ, did you watch Dynamite?
I have not seen Dynamite yet tonight, no.
All I'm going to say is this, because I know that Scylla is probably going to do her review. I don't think you do the For the Love of Wrestling on 4 anymore, too. The wild card might be a game that has its own polarizing identity.
All I'm going to say is that to add to Noah's point, and I don't want to spoil.
Non-spoiler.
There's a certain someone, if you remember when the Young Bucks cut their promo, that somebody suspended from the Elite and I'm gonna just leave it like that.
Adam Page.
Let's just say you might be smelling cowboy shit sooner rather than later. Anyway,
And you know what? They can totally work that into the story because the Bucks can screw Page out of the match. And that's how Jarrett moves on.
Ooh.
let's just put it this way, guys. If Double J does move on from this opening round, it might be one of the biggest mistakes in AEW history. Just saying.
It might be. Might be.
Might be.
Well, again, we're talking about Forbidden Door, of course. For those that don't know, you can watch the pay-per-view live from Bleacher Report, if you choose. YouTube, Triller, Dash In, Dave & Buster's. I don't know why Tony Schiavone's doing the control centers anymore. I missed that. Maybe they're trying to, lighten his load because the man friggin' is a workhorse for this company. Dadgummit. More respect for Tony.
He wears a lot of hats.
Yeah, right? Dadgummit. Maybe that's why he's also not doing as much commentary on Dynamite anymore, as he now is the head commentator for Collision. But yeah, Forbidden Door will be this Sunday. Yes, it's a Sunday night. Damn it. Sunday night, and of course, the 0 hour will start 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be coming here at Jimmy Multiverse Media. Me and I believe James is on the call along with JJ for some special matches, so stay tuned for more on that. All right, King, let's go ahead and switch gears now your way, shall we? Because you put me in you know what? Never mind. I'm actually going to take this one because I'm the commentator guy here about Technical Wrestling. Buddy, whatever, take us, damn it! Friggin' Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr. one-on-one, a sleeper clinic to behold. Considering this is now the third time Orange Cassidy is involved in the Forbidden Door, the first one, of course, he faced Will Ospreay, and the second one, he was in a failed four-way defending his international championship against Katsuyori Shibata, Daniel Garcia, and Zack Sabre Jr. And of course, he did say, Zack Sabre Jr. actually says, "We're not done, darling." But of course, he said, "Next time, dickheads." And we haven't seen these two come into the same ring since. Forbidden Door has allowed that to happen. Why Zack Sabre Jr. has said verbatim, of course, his intent now is to win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and win the G1. In order to do that, of course, the front man who put the Interim World Championship on the map, while TMDK right now is on the rise, with TMDK having both sets of the tag team titles. Orange Cassidy's kind of looking for really whatever at this point. He's lost all his friends. He may have some other friends now, and at this point, he knows Zack Sabre Jr. has stuff that he can't do. But we also know Orange Cassidy, he does things you think he can't do. He's one of those guys that surprise us so much. And why Zack Sabre Jr. is such a reactive wrestler, Orange Cassidy is such an unorthodox wrestler. It literally plays up Orange Cassidy's advantage. But Zack Sabre Jr., of course, has been scouting him this last year. And I still think we haven't digged into the entire repertoire of either man yet. But that being said, I look at it like this. If Zack Sabre Jr. wins, what does that do for him in AEW? He's already in the G1. If Orange Cassidy wins, maybe that's the reset that he needs to finally get back up on his own 2 feet and figure out his own way in AEW, because he's kind of lost right now. He has no direction. He has no friends. But I also fear that the Don Callis family might show their ugly mugs, including a former friend named Trent that will stop at nothing to concert mine Orange. You're nothing but a fucking hypocrite. But last year, Orange Cassidy, he found a way to win. First year, he nearly found a way to win against Will Ospreay. Again, all it takes is 3 seconds. He doesn't have to submit the man. He just has to pin him. It's the literal way Zack Sabre Jr. beat Bryan Danielson earlier this year in the New Beginning. Yes, believe it or not, folks, that was another match this year that Bryan Danielson lost.
Mm-hmm. Can we point out the fact that Orange Cassidy's opponent is my guy to win G1? He said it before. It would be a shame if he doesn't win the title, the main title in New Japan, while he's still at his prime.
Exactly, and Bryan Danielson pretty much passed the Bryan Danielson award to him.
I mean, he beat Danielson in New Japan. I forgot which. Was it in Osaka, the New Beginning?
New Beginning in Osaka, yes.
Back in February, believe it or not.
I mean, he said it himself. He praises Bryan Danielson. He wants it to face every single day. He will not get sick of it.
Right? Well, again, he and Bryan Danielson are a different level of professional wrestling. Orange
Also,
Cassidy,
the fact that he also praised Orange Cassidy off script. I mean, kayfabe wise.
well, I think a lot of people do because ever since that rival match with Paga Revolution in 2020, we've really learned what Orange Cassidy is capable of to the point JJ and Jeff even understand and respect Orange Cassidy because of how damn good he is in that ring, despite his character just being so mundane. Whatever. I'm just a casual guy that wears jeans and Ray-Bans. I'm a simple man that wears suits and sunglasses. So there you go. But that being said, Lex, let's start with you on this. Who do you got getting the decision? It can't go to a draw, can it?
It might happen for me. It might. I'm not. I like both of these guys. Those guys are my guys as well. So to me, it's either a draw or either latter wins. That's it.
So
This
is
different. This match is what you call is unpredictable.
JJ, anything to add? You know what both these men can bring in the ring because we've called watch-alongs with both men verbatim. You've also seen both men work. You know where Orange Cassidy lies, but you know where Zack Sabre Jr. continues to reside. What's your take?
I feel like it'll be the biggest upset in the world if Orange Cassidy beats Zack Sabre Jr.
Right?
I feel like Sabre almost has to beat Orange Cassidy. Because, like, where would Sabre go with the AEW infrastructure if Orange Cassidy beat him?
You're going to muffle there a little bit better. Try again. Nope, still breaking up. Don't know what's happening.
I don't know either. But
go ahead and maybe like refresh it or because I don't know what happened. It's like
okay, I'll try refreshing.
There we go. Got it.
There we go.
All right, and come back in. Technical difficulties only here. You know what's funny, King? You so far haven't dropped out yet.
Don't jinx it. I'm knocking on wood for that.
Check.
All right, that's good. Now continue.
You good?
So it's like, where would Zack Sabre Jr. go within the AEW infrastructure if he loses to Orange Cassidy? You can beat Bryan Danielson, but you can't beat Pockets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can beat arguably the greatest wrestler of our generation, but you can't beat the guy that puts his hands in his pockets and does lackadaisical kicks.
Oh.
It's one of the things that Tony Khan has done with his booking. If Sabre loses to Orange Cassidy, you've murdered Zack Sabre on your broadcast.
Fair.
I mean, granted, Orange Cassidy is your contracted talent. You want to put him over. But Sabre beat Bryan Danielson, and he can't beat Pockets.
He also hasn't won yet at Forbidden Door, JJ. Let's not forget. He's been involved in the previous two. This is the third Forbidden Door. First one, he faced Claudio Castagnoli. Second one, he was involved in the fatal four-way, not involved in the decision. His third time the charm.
Yeah. It would be like saying Bret Hart can beat The Undertaker, but he can't beat Taka Michinoku.
All right.
Oh, my goodness.
Damn.
Saying
Taka.
And that's no disrespect to Taka. I love Taka. You can throw anybody in there. You can throw Duke the Dumpster Rosie, the Brooklyn Brawler, the Goose.
Oh my God.
You
the
can
only
beat
the only thing I remember,
but you can't beat them.
Yeah. Fair.
Man, the last time I remembered Taka was Kai and Tai in the Choppy PP segment.
Oh God!
See, I remember him from the Rumble where he kept getting thrown over and he wasn't even in it, and he splatted his face so bad they kept like rewinding that shit. Like if Pat McAfee was there back then, he would have had a field day with it, drawing on the video and everything.
He would commentate every single funny incident, and it will still be golden.
But in all seriousness, What do you do to Zack Sabre Jr. on your TV if you let Orange Cassidy win?
What you also do to him going back to New Japan and being involved in the most important tournament in that company's annual year, the G1 Climax, where he said verbatim he needs to win this to finally win the IWGP World Championship. I've been saying it for how many fucking years that he should have been won the G1 Climax. First Naito cost him in 3 minutes 2 years ago. I'm still pissed off about that. He didn't make it to the finals last year. He's won every other accolade possible in this climbing, including the New Japan Cup, multiple times over, yet he still can't win the G1 or win the damn IWGP Heavyweight Championship. And to your point, he's in his prime. He doesn't have knees made of dust like the next match we're going to talk about here for a little bit with Tetsuya Naito. But that being said, well said, though, JJ. That being said, King, bring it home. Your thoughts on this. I mean, it's almost like, I don't want to call it a prep match for the G1 for Zack Sabre Jr., but kind of a motivational upstart to the summer of Saberism, if we're fortunate.
And it's like when you count, like when people want to count out Orange Cassidy, you can't count him out because like if Forbidden Door 2022 taught anybody anything in his match with Will Ospreay for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship, it basically showed that Orange Cassidy can go in that ring when he wants to and when he chooses to.
With anybody.
And it take 2023 example as well. Last year in the international championship, what was it, 4-way with Shibata, Zack Sabre Jr., and Daniel Garcia, when Orange Cassidy defended that title. That it's basically when you put Orange Cassidy and technical wrestlers. I feel like this is the third year in a row, and I like it because we get to explore Orange Cassidy's technical side for a bit in pure, like a Ring of Honor pure match when it comes to adding another style to Orange Cassidy. But also with Zack Sabre Jr., especially with his exclusive interview. I remember when I watched that earlier today, and he was talking about what's your go-to finishing hold. He doesn't need one, while everybody else has one finishing hold to go to that they use a lot. He doesn't have that one go-to finishing hold for his matches. He doesn't like to use the same move twice. So, and it's like, yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. needs the win here. So that way, for Orange Cassidy, we don't know where his mind has been since the disbandment of the Best Friends. We still don't know where he's at. But for Zack Sabre Jr., and it'll at least get him ready for the G1 coming up, because I do want to see Zack Sabre Jr. win the G1 and main event Wrestle Kingdom for the IWGP World Championship. I do want to see that. So, like you said, I don't want to say it's a prep match for Zack, but Zack Sabre Jr. and Orange Cassidy going to deliver us a technical banger and show again the people who want to doubt Orange Cassidy's technical side that Orange Cassidy can go technical savvy just as much as the rest of them. But I got Zack Sabre Jr. for the one here.
I got him. I got him as well. I met him. I met him in person. So
yeah, you recently met him.
Yeah, you met him.
Probably called you.
Yeah, I mean, no, he didn't call me. He's an honest chap, man.
Chap.
Well, I have to go British on him. So yeah, I mean, I praise his technical prowess, and he gave me a nod. So it's like,
okay.
I mean, remember, he went to CMLL. He faced Hechicero and Mystico.
Yep.
And Mystico beat him, by the way, via submission with La Mystica. So he can't be beaten.
He can be, ZSJ can be beaten, but don't underestimate his multiple technical skills that he could pull off in the match.
No. Never. Not at all.
Also, if he wins the G1, which is, my cards are all in for him to win it, he might face either Mox or Naito.
Exactly, and perfect segue. But real quick, also to your point, G1 also involves not only us, as Jr., our front runner. We got Pro Wrestling Noah's Jake Lee, and we got AEW's Konosuke Takeshita.
Oh no, it's Takeshita. Oh my god,
look at the blood.
he's gonna go on a tear as well in G1.
He better, damn it. I mean, DDT Pro represent in this United Asian Pro Wrestling Association of like promotions. Just saying. Also, with that being said, of course, Forbidden Door's got a lot more matches. Still yet to be official. I think we're going to get Chris Jericho versus Minoru Suzuki for the FTW for the World Championship for the rules. I think we're definitely got, as we know, we got.
Okay, here's my pit for G1 finals. ZSJ versus Takeshita.
Oh Lord, that's a match.
Oh my.
Then again, Don Cal showed that Takeshita can be technical at Double or Nothing. If he didn't get involved, he probably could have beat John Moxley. So there you go. That's fair. Of course, Star's got the 5-star Grand Prix coming up. And of course, we are talking about the Owen, talking about the men's Owen, the women's Owen, of course. As you alluded to, we got the women's first 0-hour match mentioned. We got Momo Watanabe. Easier said than done, folks. Trust me, I do this a lot. Title onside Chris Statler, because stat where it's at. Taking on Willow Nightingale and Tim Nakano. Although I do think a little Ty Thekla may not be too far to out-destroy idols, but that's a whole different conversation. And of course, we also know the Acclaim will be with President Ace to take on Corporate Okada and buddies. And there's also going to be more matches, I'm sure, made official for.
I'm still that meme lives rent free on my head. I'm so sorry, bitch.
Why is Okada saying bitch hilarious?
It's just the way how he delivers it.
Yeah, he presents himself as this proper, like, Japanese corporate businessman, and then for him to just be like, bitch. It's hilarious.
I can't. You remember that freaking edition? I can't.
It's like that one American friend who taught an Asian friend
the naughty word.
The naughty word.
Naughty word.
And then he run the ball with it until like it reminded me of that movie from Mr. Bean where he did the middle finger and everything.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I used to be a fan of Mr. Bean. I still laugh when he did the Mr. Boombastic dance for like money. Mr. Bean, he's still funny to this day. I know some stuff. All right, well, you did talk about Tetsuya Naito and John Moxley in G1, and to your point, of course, the winner of the G1 will get to fight for the richest prize in New Japan Pro Wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom, which of course is the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. But we get there.
Yes.
Yeah,
this match.
About this match. People's got thoughts, and all I'm going to say to you is tranquilo. John Moxley, the Boogeyman, the Death Rider, the Paradigm Shift himself, the current IWGP World Champion, defends the gold against the Incredible One himself, the former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Tetsuya Naito. Is it Destino, or at this point, is it adios to Naito's chance of ever holding this gold again?
Finally, it's that time of the year where we can hear Death Rider theme again.
Right? I honestly like that more than the Wild Thing cover.
It's that one special Forbidden Door thing that we can hear the John Moxley New Japan theme.
So
that makes my wrestling theme music happy.
Yeah, I'm about to say you're both very happy.
I think I'm the only one that's like partial to Wild Thing, because when I first heard him use it, being a big movie guy, that's what they used for Rick Wild Thing Vaughn in the Major League franchise. So I'm hearing that come over the PA, and I'm like, who's using Rick Vaughn's music? And then here comes Moxley, and I'm like, yes.
Well, to be fair, definition of a Wild Thing. I mean, did you see his war with Josh Barnett in the friggin' blood sport in Real Gold?
Literally, no pun intended, blood sport.
Yep, pun intended. Dude could have died. Damn.
What Moxley match isn't a blood sport? But I digress.
That's fair, considering he was a bloody mess when he beat Tetsuya Naito at freaking Winning City Riot for this very title. But that being said, people have been saying all the time, John Moxley, take a fucking break, bro. You deserve it. But also, this is the IWGP Heavyweight Championship being defended by an AEW wrestler against a New Japan Professional Wrestling wrestler on an AEW pay-per-view, while the New Japan Pro Wrestling's biggest tournament of the year, G1 Climax, is underway. Now, John Moxley,
he's the first ever.
Yeah,
he's the first
ever.
First WWE champion.
Yep.
AEW champion and New Japan Pro Wrestling Heavyweight
Not to
champion.
mention CCW and GCW. The man's done it all. He's conquered every company and form except TNA at this point. And Sammy Callahan's there, just saying. Oh, Lord almighty, those two go on the same roof. But that being said, it almost feels like a foregone conclusion, but it also could be a moment because for those that don't know, Tetsuya Nato's all about achieving that roll call after he wins the championship. It was the whole purpose of him being the main event in the Tokyo Dome. Clearly, these two are not going to be the main event here, and we know why. Robs. But that being said, does it make sense for Jon Moxley to hold on to this title and return to compete in the G1 with it? We're not to say he'll even give him his spot. And we have Jon Moxley finally main event the Tokyo Dome maybe next year. First time ever in his career, another accolade to add to his bucket list. Or do you go back once again with the New Japan favorite, Tetsuya Naito, who main evented the Tokyo Dome again this year, beat Sonata, who was the longest reigning IWGP World Heavyweight Champion in this title's existence. Let's put that out there, by the way. And beat him verbatim. With Naito, you get a slow, methodical, ungovernable, Keiji Muto-esque approach as he builds and works and debilitates the neck for the Destino. It almost feels like to me, though, King, that you gotta think that Naito's going to get the belt back, right?
Yes, at this rate, because like, don't get me wrong, I do like Mox like holding the belt, and it's been the belt that he's been chasing for after like for 5 years, and he's finally got the belt. But I don't think anyone in these states has heard Naito's roll call, so I think I'm not a big fan of like winning City Riot and then going to Forbidden Door and dropping the belt to Naito, but I feel like this is at case here. I mean, Moxley in the G1. I mean, I do want to see it, but at the same time, I don't. So it's only a matter, it's a matter of right now. Naito gets it back and he does the roll call in the States. He will get that championship back.
Well, that being said, JJ, we know after Forbidden Door, we're on the road to blood and guts, but we also got, of course, Beach Break, and I imagine they're going to have Fire for the Fall, and then, of course, we go back to All In. And Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson, again, they teach in combat. They're teachers, right? They literally wrestle you to make you better. So I do think Jon Moxley's always going to have something to do because he is a wild thing and has no breaks. He drinks blood, as he said, ever since he got reformed and relieved of his demons back last year in January. God bless him. So what's your take on this? I know you don't watch New Japan a lot, but again, this is New Japan's richest prize on AEW wrestler. It kind of feels like it needs to go back home, don't you think?
I do think it needs to go back home, but I think it would be bigger for it to go back home on home soil. I think it would be bigger if Mox lost it back in Japan. And not knowing what Tony's long-term plan is for Mox, considering I haven't really seen him on TV a whole lot lately. Granted, I haven't been watching AEW as much as I used to,
right?
But when I tune in, I still don't see him usually. I don't know if he's going to want to job him out or give him the win to kind of preserve him if Blood or Guts is something that he's looking at in the very near future for Mox.
Yeah, and Blackpool Combat Club's been feuding with CMLL lately, to your point, in trios matches and 8-man tags. That's basically what Jon Moxley's been up to here in the States. While over there, he's already defended the IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Evil. And shout out to Desperado, by the way, winning back the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship against Show. Thank Christ. And Hanari being the Neverweight Champion. It just feels like, to me, Moxley right now is kind of like, again, what he said before. You want to clear me, you got to do one thing. Keep up. He already put his student, his young lion, his protege, Shooter Umino through the ringer for a chance at the title. Shota came up short. Randa Rita came up short, thankfully. So right now, he's going into his fourth defense of the IWGP, or excuse me, fifth. I forgot Powerhouse Haas, by the way. Let's see. Fifth defense of the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And verbatim, if John Moxley retains, that means he, according to Natalya, be in the G1 Climax, which is the Round Robin tournament that goes through pretty much a month and a half. And he's necessarily not defending the title during that, but anybody that beats him on his road towards that kind of gives themselves a shot at the IWGP Pro Heavyweight Championship, as is tradition. And that, of course, follows the next tour, which I believe is Power Struggle, after the G1 finals conclude, which, of course, is the opening of the fall line of tours, including Destruction, whatever they replace King of Pro Wrestling with. They always have weird names. I can't keep track. Before we get all the way to their tournaments for Tag League and Junior Tag League, where the IWGP Pro Heavyweight Championship just sits in the back burner until we get to Wrestle Kingdom next year on the road to Tokyo Dome. So if John Moxley beats Naito here, he very well might have this title for the rest of the year. Just a thought.
Yeah, and he'll be in the G1 with that title too.
And remember,
is there a way they could make him defend it through each round of the G1?
Well, under new leadership, that's a good question, considering they are returning to G1 traditional format. 2 blocks of 10. Nice. 2 points you get a win, 1 point draw, 0 points you get a loss, 30-minute time limit matches. So maybe during the final, I guess that could happen if he's not involved in that, or he's involved in that maybe against somebody that beat him. But I can't recall to my knowledge the last time the title was defended during the G1, let alone during the G1 final. It's usually afterwards. But again, new president, Hiroshi Tanahashi, trying to restore New Japan Pro Wrestling, bringing titles their own identity, and has a 6-step plan towards building back the morale, the reception, overall ecosystem of this company, while expanding the entire Japanese professional wrestling landscape. It's not too far-fetched to think that Tanahashi could try and do something like that. And of course, the last time John Moxley was in the G1, he ran roughshod until he faced the likes of Switchblade Jay White and freaking Yano. But that's a whole different conversation. Lex, what's your thoughts on this World Heavyweight Championship match?
For me, it's going to be a one hell of a fight because I don't know. John Moxley is defending basically IWGP World Heavyweight Champion against Tetsuya Naito, when he beat him. Which event did he beat him again? I forgot now.
Windy City Riot.
Windy City Riot.
Yeah, Windy City Riot. Yeah, that's
the U.S. events kind of run together, which is why I don't blame you for forgetting.
Yeah, so when he beat them, I thought he beat him on a New Japan event, like in Japan, basically. But it's in America. But yeah, for me, if Mox retains, I don't know what's next for Naito. If Naito wins the title back, yeah, it brings it back to Japan, and the rest of the people in G1 Climax will go after him now. But if Moxley retains, everyone in the G1 is gunning after him, which are we already. I think all of the competitors there he already faced, but it will be a refreshing take to see Mox. Mox is not from New Japan; he's from AEW. So basically, they're gonna face someone from AEW, not from New Japan, holding a New Japan title. So to me, if Mox wins this, it'll be good. It will be a good fight for whoever wins the G1. But now the stakes are higher in basically this match.
Yeah, I think right now the pressure's on New Japan. I mean, again, what do you do when your company's richest title is currently in possession of another company's talent? Hello, Kenny Omega. Just saying. All right. Well, let's go ahead and shift gears now away from the men to the women, because I don't know about y'all, but both these matches definitely have, I think, some vested interest by some of us, including one, Natalya, who made it known that he's in it for a great match. And I know we're going to get that, but I think there's more on the line than just that when it comes to the pride of both these women and their promotions, not to mention their standings in the world of Lucha Libre. And you talk about verbatim how you're much more excited for this match, the most matches on this card. So, King, you can go ahead and kick things off with this. Who becomes a double champion? Is it the CEO of La Primera? Title for time, Mercedes Moner, Stephanie Valkyrie, what's your thoughts on this match going back to the very beginning of the establishment of the NJPW Strong Women's Division? Just saying, King. Good luck.
This all stems from the NJPW Strong Women's Championship tournament last year at Resurgence when these two were in the same bracket and they fought each other in LA. That was a banger, and that's what caught my attention of Stephanie Vaquer.
Same.
That's what caught my attention because I never heard of her. Looked up like I've been watching most of her, like some of her matches, and I was like fully invested. And then, of course, we all know what happened to Mercedes in the finals, and when she faced Willow, we all know what happened there. She was gone for 10 months, and then she came back like in ring wise at Double or Nothing. She beat Willow. She defended the title against Sky Blue. She defended the title against who else I could think of? No, you probably could help me out. She defended against Sky Blue.
Yes.
Yep.
Team partner, who, by the way, Stephanie Vaquer, current CMLL Women's World Champion and CML Women's Tag Team Champion.
While Stephanie Vaquer has been holding every single belt that I feel like she touches at this rate.
Pretty much.
And I remember President Ace saying that he wants to make the NJPW Strong titles be defended in U.S. soil. So it's like that's a already conclusion with this match here. And I'm kind of worried, just like you are. And it's like, you know, we've already got one belt on Mercedes, and then all of a sudden, when President Ace made that statement, it's like, oh boy, we're about to be approaching 2 belts Monet, aren't we? So with this, CEO dance, I see that. And it's like. And it's like it's already a foregone conclusion with that statement just there alone. That granted, this match will be a classic with these two ran back. This is the match that got me invested in Stephanie Vaquer in the NJPW Strong inaugural Women's Championship tournament. But in this case here, Stephanie becomes 0-2. Like I said, because of that statement alone by Hiroshi Tanahashi, we will see Mercedes 2 belts. Mercedes will become the TBS champion and the NJPW Strong Open Women's Championship. The title that she feels like that was made for her, and I feel like it was made for her. Potentially, if it wasn't for that injury that happened in Long Beach. So, yeah. Mercedes with the win, unfortunately.
I just want to expand on Tanahashi's point. Just because he said, I think America, doesn't mean I don't think you could try and do them in Canada, Mexico. Maybe it just means like literally outside Japan. Just maybe here in North America. Because I think the NJPW Strong brand can expand just beyond the 48 Continental States. They ain't going to Alaska where Lady Frost is from, or they ain't going, or Iceland, excuse me, botch. Well, I guess that's not part of America either, so a double botch. And they also aren't going over to Hawaii as far as I know either. But I guess if Mercedes, when they wins here, she gets the moment, doesn't mean that Stephanie Vaquer can't win it back. Let's not forget that the friggin' Mercedes invaded Stephanie's home, Azteca, Mexico. CMLL home turf, and MJF verbatim has also said that he wants to do a wrestling show down there with AEW in that very venue. Con unexplored market, just saying. And we also know MJF one-on-one with CMLL's Hechicero at the Forbidden Door, as well as a 6-way ladder match for the TNT Championship. One person yet to be determined. I imagine it's going to be on Collision. It wasn't spoiled already by No DQ because I don't freaking know who that is going to be. Maybe it will be a wild cover CLL. Maybe it'll be Madness again. Who knows? But yeah, it just kind of sucks because you look at Stephanie Vaquer's rise to that title, beating Julia, by the way, of all people for it, and having incredible matches so far against the likes of Alex Winston and Asume, defending it successfully. I think it hurts a little bit, but I don't think it loses anything in the moment. And I think she can get it back. And I think if they run it back in Azteca, Mexico, I think that would show Mercedes Monet's true purpose for women's wrestling going global. And I think it also shows the strength of the relationship with AEW, NCML, and NJPW. So as much as I wanted to go with Stephanie and a holy fuck she did it moment, I kind of agree with you here. I think that Mercedes Moné gets her moment that she believes was owed to her at Resurgence, or she was going to own and didn't. And she gets it back a year and a month later. JJ, anything to add regarding this? I know you've had a lot of things to say verbatim about Mercedes Moné's return and whether or not it's for the right business practices or personal advantage. What's your thoughts on this match?
I have nothing positive to say now.
Dick! All right.
I will just leave it at that. I will save my diatribe for simply predicting. I don't know Stephanie Vaquer well enough to really speak on her.
Okay.
I do know of Mercedes Vernado, Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné well enough to speak on her. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that for right now.
Mental note, make sure JJ goes first on TBS versus Strong Championship match on Simply Predicting. Oh, okay. Lex, what's your thoughts on this? And also at the forefront, let's keep in mind, Mercedes Moné right now is also saying that she loves Lucha Libre and knows she can do it better than Stephanie Vaquer, who was literally born and raised off this stuff in CMLL, the oldest wrestling promotion in Mexico. And we've seen these real packages. We've seen the training and why Steady's been putting in the work in the ring far more heavily Mercedes Moné overall. We've seen how much Mercedes Moné has been putting into it, preparing for this. To the point, she had the longest match in AEW women's history against Will Nightingale at Double or Nothing, and a nice little follow to your point, King, against Sky Blue. And honestly, a strong match against Lucius, Stephanie Vaquer's partner, which she did beat, which of course also added more fuel to this fire. But that face-to-face confrontation and Moné holding both belts definitely lit a fire in Stephanie and probably all Mexico. Makes me wonder if Mexico has a favorite here. That being said, Lex, what's your thoughts on this match? Stephanie Vaquer, Mercedes Moné, title for title.
Did they question? I don't remember much about the. Did they face each other before in New Japan's?
No. This is a actually no. I took that back. This was the very first match of the NWW Strong Women's Division establishment during the opening round of that inaugural NWW Strong Women's Championship tournament last year. Mm-hmm. These two started the women's division of that brand.
Mm-hmm. All right.
They won.
So is this their second encounter?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay. Mind you, this is gonna be a rematch, but this time it's for the New Japan Strong title, right?
It's for both, brother.
It's for both titles.
It's a winner takes all now. So yeah.
Yes,
that's correct.
I hate. Continue.
Sorry, my mind is like really.
You're good. You're good.
We got much more to say. I think King basically broke it down pretty much verbatim. We got the key factor here. It's just a matter what the aftermath's going to be.
Oh, the aftermath. I mean, if Moné wins this, she's gonna go in international tour with the title.
Well, I mean, hey, she's already at the Boston Celtics game with the TBS championship after Boston won the NBA playoffs. Congratulations.
Well, that's a flex because she brought the title with the current NBA champion. So yeah, that's it. So basically, if Stephanie Vaquer wins this, retains her strong title and wins the TBS title, which is far a long shot because, mind you, that's an AEW home title, so she might be going on a tear in AEW in a short period of time. But if Mercedes won the strong title and keeps her TBS title, so I can't believe the matchups are gonna be putting on her list. So
right.
So it's gonna be it's gonna be an interesting match to see because, mind you, these two have history since from the beginning. So
right.
Let's wait and see who wins this match. I'm not here to pick a side, but I'm here to analyze which.
That's the whole point.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
That's fair. Again, like I told y'all, you're not here to predict. You're here to analyze. You want to throw out your first ballot pick, that's fine by me. But you know your picks aren't official until you fill out the forms that I always bring out, courtesy of City Predicting. And the form will be made official after I complete my panel this Friday. But also to go with that, I mean, what's a CEO without a business cabinet? Who's to say the Renegade Twins don't become part of her entourage? And maybe that helps her win the title, protect Stephanie in defeat, and build more into that you didn't beat me fair and square, because everyone says that Mercedes Moné should be a heel, not a face. And tell me if I'm telling lies on that plot. Just saying. So yeah, I'm hoping for something maybe to come out of this, that they do run this back and Stephanie gets at least a strong title back. She deserves it. But we'll see what happens. All right. Well, JJ, you seem a little bit down in the dumps, but you're not in gray. But spotlight on you, please, as I give you this to kick things off. Because this is probably one second most anticipated match of the night. The story of the lady in the background on both sides.
Lord have mercy on my soul for this match.
Same here, Oos.
All right, gentlemen, pull your jets, keep yourself together. Let's go ahead and talk about the AEW Women's World Championship. As King say it.
This match is certified hot girl graps.
That's
timeless.
Thank you. Timeless Tony Storm defends the AEW Women's World Championship against Stardom's own Mina Shirakawa, Mariah May in either corner. Who's to say? I'm not.
It's the battle of custody for Mariah May at this
Well,
point.
no briefcase involved and no ladder, thankfully, but that champagne bottle might be looking for revenge. Just a matter of let's talk about that later. Again, JJ, go watch this trios match from Wednesday, and you'll know what we're talking about. This is all. Despite the fact Tony Storm is gray, you're going to see a whole lot more red when it comes to her aggressiveness against Mina Shirakawa. That being said, I'm going to stop speaking now and leave it to the director. JJ, the floor is yours. Your thoughts on this AEW Women's World Championship encounter.
Well, in the words of the illustrious Jeff Meacham, see, here's the thing. This is the one match that gives me the most Forbidden Door feel out of any match on the card. And the problem I have with it, and trust me, it's only a minor problem, is that all the wrong attention is being brought to this match.
Yep.
This match isn't being presented as Tony Storm versus Mina Shirakawa, and these two bad bitches are about to throw down and leave everything on the line in the ring. It's being presented like an Eric Bischoff hot lesbian action angle from 2001, 2002.
Well, I remember that.
Not wrong, to be fair.
He's not.
And again, like I said, it's only a minor problem because all the participants are good looking. Not because that's what Noah's here to watch, because he enjoys professional wrestling.
Damn it.
He doesn't like this bullshit.
No.
But this is legitimately the one match on the show that, for me, has the best competitors, the most compelling story, and everything going into it. You've actually got, AEW and a brand new company coming in, Stardom. And it's all about the custody of Mariah May.
With the AEW Women's World Championship playing accessory or co-star, or whatever you want to say. Continue.
This is one of the matches I want to be on the call for.
I look forward to it.
But it's also the match that I'm dreading the most because of the way it's been presented. It's being presented like an Attitude Era evening gown, bra and panty style match. It's not being presented as a match between two women that is being taken place post the women's revolution in professional wrestling. And again, I know that was a different company, but still,
Fair. Different rating here too. And we're also on TNT, which has no problem with showing that type of action off. Hello, 50 Shades of Grey. That being said.
And then you've also got the fact that we all know Toni Storm's not going to lose that title until Wembley.
I just can't. I can't see it. You say, what do I say all the time when it comes to the bloodline, JJ? As you continue, it's not about the result. It's about the story. People say AEW doesn't have enough stories or don't tell good stories. This is the story of the creation of a star in Wembley, featuring. I think you all know exactly who I'm talking about. But continue.
To be frank, this.
Okay, hold on, I'm finished.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Lex.
To be frank, this is gonna be the best women's storyline so far of this year.
Well, considering the rest of the business, that's fair.
Because
I don't know if I completely agree with that, though.
Really?
But this is just my opinion for myself. So yeah.
No, that everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I don't know if I completely agree with that because I really focus on women's wrestling.
Same.
The Bailey versus Damage Control angle, once it got rolling, was a pretty good story.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The Stat versus Willow story that's beginning to really develop is really good.
That one's not even a title, yeah. That's not even.
You've got Izzy Moreno, who just won a championship at 17 years old in Mission Pro Wrestling. You know that's going to build to a match with Thunder Rosa.
I look forward to that.
That is going to be a hell of a story and how we get there in the match.
I also talked about freaking Saya Kamatani rebuilding not only herself, but Queen's Quest, rising like the Golden Phoenix she is in Stardom as well.
Speaking of rise, you've got the rise of Lola Vice in my NXT right now, which is a compelling story.
It's interesting. Definitely brings the heat. How fitting she's phasing her and Heat Wave. Gonna lose.
But it's still a compelling story. You figure she went from the breakout tournament to the Iron Survivor to now she's going up against Roxanne here. Like, she's been on this build, underground matches against Shayna Baszler and Natalya. Like, you can definitely see the groundswell for her rise. It's been an intriguing angle. And then you've got freaking everything going on in the Knockouts division. So while this is definitely, I'd say, top 3, I don't know if I'd say it's the best.
That's fair.
Personal opinion, just to counter you, Lex.
And again, look at the wider scope of the business. And I didn't think about one of those stories that you did talk about. So I definitely agree with you. I also agree with your assessment that at the end of the day, what I say is not the result of the story. I think we all know the result here. We just don't say the full story.
That's the one thing that I can't get hooked in this match for. Is that we know that Tony's going to win because Tony's got to go to Wembley.
Right? Makes sense.
To inevitably face a returning Jamie Hayter, more than likely.
Well, I can hope, but I have a different idea, but continue.
Same.
Well, there's also the Owen thing, but I mean, we've seen it happen before where people have shown up last minute and gotten a title shot, right? Statlander defeating Jade Cargill?
Yeah. But
so who's to say that Tony can't have her match at Wembley against the Owen winner and then Hayter comes back and pulls the same shit at Wembley? Who's going to turn down that challenge?
I mean, who doesn't love an encore?
Mm-hmm.
And scene. Bravo, JJ. Bravo.
And I'm sorry, but it's another one of the things that I really find fault with Tony Khan in is his holding pattern booking until the person he wants to be the champion comes back.
Yeah, it just feels like you hurt your whole company without trying to build another person in that spot and depending on this one person, holding out for a promise you made. Where at the end of the day, there's a reason why every freaking marquee verbatim says cards subject to change.
Mm-hmm. I have become very focused on Mina Shirakawa throughout this thing. The problem is it's for all the wrong reasons.
JJ.
And I'm going to leave that as my final statement on this.
JJ. All right.
I'm being honest.
I respect you for that. I respect you for that.
The program has done what it's supposed to by bringing my eyes to new talent and making me look into them. The problem is that by doing the research, I'm finding all the stuff that I probably shouldn't be finding while trying to look into them. Because of all the videos that the Stardom girls tend to make.
Yeah, the Japanese.
You look up these people, and that's what you find first.
Stupid.
It just is what it is.
I get it. Algorithm bullshit.
Exactly. It's not what I'm trying to find, but it's what's being presented to me. So,
yeah,
I'm discovering, I'm being introduced to her for all the wrong reasons.
Fair.
I wish she would walk out of this with the title and possession of Mariah May. I think it would make for more intriguing television.
Yeah, especially
to see Mariah May pull the trigger and turn on Tony.
Especially if Mariah May literally goes back to Stardom with Nina. Rose gold forever. Just saying.
But Tony's going to take this.
Yeah. Well,
and that's why I've come back to the color.
I'm about to say, did back in full color. Well, bravo. I respect your take. I respect your script. I always respect your storytelling. I also respect your genuine honesty. If people want true honesty about what I think about women in wrestling and what champions are versus insert other word here that might offend people, go check out Open Mic Night, where I gave you an LA night rant about the women's championships, professional wrestling. Damn it. And I regret nothing. All right.
Why should you? That's why we stopped digressing.
Yeah, exactly.
Stand by your opinion, brother.
I stand firm and true in my beliefs. Always have, always will. Simple as that. Okay. Well, that being said, gentlemen, all that. Lex, I go to you next. Your thoughts on this match. You talk about hot girl graps, hashtag trending, Mariah May. But
King can vouch for me, Dad.
Of course. You two freaking fools. And of course, we also talked about, again, the timeless era. When does the title come back to full color? And again, you didn't see Dynamite, but you might want to check out that trios match to really get a better idea of how things have escalated when it comes to the personal tensions regarding one Mariah May and the championship in the middle of the spring.
I probably will still watch it. I'd make it a point where I don't always watch AEW live anymore.
It's fair.
It still gets DVR'd. If I go back and watch it later, I do. If I don't, I don't.
Absolutely.
It isn't must-see television for me like it used to be.
Well, to be fair,
on your recommendation, I will probably make sure I watch this go-home episode of Dynamite.
If nothing else, the YouTube clip of the 6-woman tag, I'm sure will tell you enough. But I also just say this right now. I may watch wrestling 6 days a week, but like I said, I'm not dedicated to a company. I'm not dedicated to something that's must-see 24/7, 365, every form, all the time, anytime, all right? I literally just watch, eat, sleep, and live and breathe professional wrestling 6 days a week as I choose. I mean, hell, the only stuff I watch live anymore is pay-per-views and PLDs because I'm encouraged by my family here because I call the shit with all of you. And that's not an insult. That's just a fact of life right now for me, too. And again, forever grateful. All right. Well, Lex, go ahead. Give your take on this women's championship match. What you got going for Nina Shirakawa, Nina Shan, and, of course, Toni Storm?
Like JJ said, it's obvious. It's probably Toni Storm gonna win and all, but let's not underestimate Nina Shirakawa's just by her looks, but her wrestling abilities.
Former time God Storm champion, current RS Storm champion. For those that don't know, those are the trios titles. Continue.
Now that they're fighting over who gets Mariah May in the end, and can I spoil the ending of the trios match?
I did, and King did. He did not.
Okay.
That's not spoiler.
hashtag non-spoiler, but the
It's
ending
okay.
was
Go ahead and say it because it'll probably be a couple of days before I get to it.
Go for it.
I think okay. Mina was supposed to hit Tony Storm in the head with a champagne bottle, but she ducked and hit Mariah May instead, which caused Tony Storm to panic and anger. Now this match is on for reals now. It's personal now. So basically, whoever wins this match, give or take the ladder, man, the storyline will end here. Moving forward, we'll see we'll see which opponent Tony Storm, if she retains, faces at the winner on Owen Hart Cup tournament on the women's side. So that's my only take on that.
Yeah, that's fair. And again, we know the cause and effect after this match. Tony Storm gets to wait on the other side of the Owen. And to your point, if she's cognitive enough to remember what day it is, there is Mariah May to converse Rhea in the opening round of the women's Owen Hart tournament. And that match, by the way, folks, still yet to be determined when it's happening. It's not even scheduled for next week. Well, King, floor is yours. Spotlight's on you. Your take on this. You have been nothing but a pioneer for the timeless era since its genesis alongside this gentleman. But now you might have be at a crossroads considering what might be heading towards Wembley. But I think if nothing else, we're going to learn about someone's choice here with regarding to one of these two women. Go for it.
Do you want me to give my usual introduction like I always do, or just keep it simple?
I mean, we're already at the 3-hour threshold. We got one match to talk about in your house. So I'm just saying.
As our timeless AEW Women's World Champion, Miss Toni Storm graces our presence in Long Island, New York from the UBS Arena as she takes on Mina Shirakawa for the AEW Women's World Champion. With Mariah May playing on both sides, but that's where I put a halt there because after what happened earlier tonight, I think Mariah May will play most likely a neutral corner from an aspect. Now, like what you talked about in our watch-alongs, Mina was the one that brought Mariah into stardom. Miss 99 matches in 9 months. Held championship gold in stardom. Rose gold forever. But when she came to AEW, Tony was the one that brought her to stardom in AEW and got her a spot in the Owen. Mina couldn't do that. Tony did. But Mina was the one that brought Mariah May to prominence to where she's at now. Tony did not. And it's like an even playing field as far as storyline like that goes. But as far as what we saw earlier tonight on Dynamite, was that meant for Mariah May? Or was that miscommunication? In my opinion, that was miscommunication because Tony ducked and Mina hit her with the champagne bottle. And like you said, Lex, that sent Tony into a different stratosphere of anger that I haven't seen in quite some time. So this brought a whole new personal level of anger towards Tony to where, yeah, like you said, Noah, we're going to see this in full color. The one color being red. And with Mariah May most likely playing neutral corner after what we saw after that ambush, which was miscommunication, I felt like because Mina was trying to make a plea to say, oh, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. That was not meant for you. Mariah will take that into consideration, but she's going to have to feel a second, feel like some, second guesses. Did Mina mean to hit me? Like, go ahead, JJ, before I continue.
Just hearing the way you're describing everything, was it a setup?
Maybe.
Were Mina and Mariah working together to get that rise out of Tony?
I mean, you do
take
remember
her off of her game.
You guys do remember when Mariah May first debuted, her Titantron said evil glamour.
Glamour. That is correct.
Continue.
That's a good point. See, that's a good point. JJ brought up a good point. See, I didn't even think about that till you just now mentioned that.
To Long Kong.
I feel like
Long Kong. Good grief.
exactly. So I feel like that this was basically could possibly be a setup for Tony to get that rise out of Tony and see the Tony that we're so like the old Tony. But I feel like with the old Tony, she's mixed it with this character, like she's honed and can wrestle with the character. But I feel like with this making it personal, we're about to get the old Tony that full color we will see red that we haven't seen in quite some time. I mean, Serena Deeb, that was a good match that they had at Dynasty. No pun. I mean, not Dynasty, but Double or Nothing.
Yeah, Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing.
Gosh.
But so like you said, like y'all said, it all depends on the Owen and what's the story being there as well. Tony's going to get the victory here.
Yeah, it just feels like more so though when you look at the entire field of the women's Owen. I mean, guys, let's keep this in mind. Again, we don't know anything because no DQ hasn't reported it yet. I haven't read it. The Virtuals. Bianca Brazil is taking on the most prolific female wrestler in AEW history, the three-time AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida, who lost the title last year in Wembley, by the way, in fatal four-way action. Mariah May is taking on Saraya. Of course, neither of these women are strangers, of course, to Hikaru Shida when you think about backgrounds, disciplines, and history, especially Saraya and Shida. Bianca Brazil has yet to face Saraya one-on-one, but of course has faced Mariah May one-on-one before. And on the other side of the bracket, you got friggin' Willow and Chris that's going to determine it out. And JJ, you and I spoke about this for Bama, broke it down, how we think this tournament is going to play out. And if that doesn't come fruition, then we are going to get Timeless versus Glamour. And only one's going to continue to move forward as allegedly the AEW Women's World Champion in Wembley. And let's not forget, just putting it out there, Mariah May, she's British. So there you go. It'd be a homecoming for her as well, why Toni Storm would probably have Nigel McGuinness introduce her all the way down that long freaking entrance way. Nigel is such a freaking fool. I love that guy. He's beyond crazy. So, yeah, it just feels like for me right now, if we are closing the book on the past and Mariah May says Rose Gold no more, bosom buddies going forward, or bosom going forward, then I think that, Mariah May is the deciding factor in this match on behalf of herself more than just Toni Storm. Again, I said it before, I'll say it again. How long does somebody share the spotlight before they take it for themselves? At one point, I thought it was going to be Bianca Purrazzo. Proved me wrong. But if somebody's going to be Thomas Toni Storm at this point, and what you again said is the most prolific, consistent, strongest female character in the business, that might as well be literally her own student at the biggest stage AEW has to offer in Wembley Stadium. So with that, I think that it goes in favor of Thomas Toni Storm because she's got even more motivation now. Sometimes emotions is your greatest strength or your biggest weakness. And you said it yourself. You finally acknowledge that Thomas Toni Storm is going to see more than just black and white. She's going to see red. And I definitely agree with you there. It's a hell of a match, but I think Toni Storm is retaining the title. As far as Tina goes, she's got her own situation to deal with right now in Stardom, including an idol killer and one sexual will die. Just saying.
But to add on, just for a little fun and jokes of what Nigel said on Collision, Mariah going to have to make that choice. That choice of being Tony's tits or Mina's melons.
Jesus Christ.
Nigel McGuinness, you my guy. Always my guy.
Damn it, Nigel!
It's gonna be Timeless Tits versus Club Venus Melons.
Move on. Let's move on.
I don't know who to give the damn it now to, Nigel or Lex.
Let's move on.
Oh my gosh, we have definitely gone way longer than I expected, but this is definitely an ATW review impromptu to remember. All right, guys. Well, that being said, we've had a lot of fun. We had a lot of chat. We had a lot of talk. Let's go ahead and talk about the main event because it only makes sense that the AEW pay-per-view ends with the AEW World Championship in whose house?
Swerve's house.
Let's go ahead and talk about the future of the AEW World Championship and, by proxy, honestly, the AEW International Champion. Not the championship, but the champion, because this is definitely a personal affair. It might as well be a family affair. It is Swerve Strickland defending the gold against the Billy Gold himself, Will Ospreay, one-on-one, first time ever encounter, and first time ever pay-per-view main event for the challenger. So here's the thing, guys. As we know, Will Ospreay signed AEW back in January, and he is currently undefeated at 19-0 after winning alongside Swerve in that tag team match. Although after grabbing Swerve's title, he was unwelcome in his house and ate a house call, as Swerve stood tall in the end. Swerve said himself, Ospreay, you lack that killer instinct. You're not willing to put absolutely everything on the line, willing to sacrifice everything for this. Well, I am. I sacrifice family. I sacrifice friends. I sacrifice relationships. Anybody that was in my way towards this, they are just bodies now. But we also heard verbatim from Ospreay, he doesn't need the family or Don Callis. Really? Considering last year what it took to beat Kenny Omega, just saying. But again, he's evolved since then. He's also become a own humble family man with Odds Windsor and his son. That Swerve named and made this personal beyond all belief. We also learned, courtesy of Dynamite Tonight, we're already moving past this, and it almost feels like Swerve once again, holding that chip on his shoulder larger than Mount Everest, might feel like a footnote in Will Ospreay's vision. As Will Ospreay said that next week on Dynamite, it will be him and Daniel Garcia for the AEW International Championship. And if Ospreay wins the world title, he will defend both against Daniel Garcia next week, Wednesday on Dynamite at Beach Break. But also in addition to that, MJF also honored Daniel Garcia and says, I want to face you one-on-one at Wembley Stadium. Not made official yet. But that was before Will Ospreay came in and decided to, intercept this appreciation up to New Yorkers to each other, despite the fact they're from different areas, one from Long Island, one from Buffalo. But we also heard Will Ospreay. He basically talked about, again, how he feels about MJF, and verbatim tonight, he shrugged him off and walked away. And while MJF might, previous identity might have just blew a gasket, he remained composed. He said, Daniel Garcia, there's a huge opportunity for you. You focus on this man. Good luck. And MJF just walked away, back through the heel tunnel. Something tells me that Wolf is about to bite someone's hand off, and I think it's going to be the All Elite Bruff sooner rather than later. As he believes that he and Daniel Garcia, they are the future of AEW. They didn't come from another company just to try and make something here, only to literally complain, lose on everything, and then go back to where they were. Yeah, I wonder who we're talking about there. That being said, it's the AEW World Championship. I think one thing changes. I think one thing stays the same, and I'm leaving that up to suspension of disbelief, as again, this is simply analyzing, this is not simply predicting. Okay, that being said, King, your thoughts on this AEW World Championship match? Do you think somebody loses a family? Does somebody loses a body? Does somebody lose their own track on their mentality? What's your thoughts on this?
When Swerve brought up his family, he made things personal. Like, to be granted, this ain't a first-time encounter for both of these men.
No.
If you've seen their first-time ever match was years ago. And it all started with that Bruno Mars song before they start the fighting. So they are no strangers to one another. And now here we are years later, but this time for the richest prize in AEW. But when was the last time Swerve got personal with someone's family? He done some maniacal, tactical things that he even said he's not proud of. And when he brought up his son and Miss Windsor, shout out to Miss Windsor, that's when I was like, yep, Swerve is right back on that maniacal level that I don't think the All Elite Bruv can touch. I mean, the All Elite Bruv can elevate so much. But when you have Swerve that can go down in a maniacal tactic, look what happened to Hangman Adam Page. He'll tell you what happened.
Yeah.
Swerve can get tactical. Swerve can get maniacal. That's why I have a feeling when Swerve said you don't have the ability to hold both worlds. I kind of believe that. And as much as I respect Will Ospreay, the all elite bro that he is, I don't think he can carry both worlds here. Swerve retains.
Yeah, by the way, for those that are wondering, I think both worlds refers to the wrestling world and the family world, not necessarily both titles. Last time Lex, of course, Will Ospreay held multiple worlds was when he was under a previous identity of the Commonwealth Kingpin, and he held titles across basically 4 different damn companies at the time, only to collapse under all of them, starting with Kazuchika Okada taking the IWGP Championship from him back at Wrestle Kingdom 16. Hasn't been the same bro since. That being said, no longer Commonwealth Kingpin. Now the Aerial Assassin. Lex, do you think maybe he needs to go back to the Commonwealth Kingpin for one night only, just to prove for Strickland 1 and keep his undefeated streak alive and win the World Heavyweight Championship?
I think it being said, like King said, the breath of the family, it becomes personal. But this is the biggest challenge for Will Ospreay's career, despite being, in fact, the current international champion, now having an opportunity to be an AEW World Heavyweight Champion. To me, if he brings out one or either the Aerial Assassin or the Commonwealth Kingpin, it becomes a dangerous field for Swerve Strickland, mind you. If he brings a mix of both, that could be a dangerous combination that Swerve have to face. That being said, Swerve will retain the championship, even though I like Will Ospreay, but Swerve is gonna retain, and they're gonna face each other somewhere down the line. But if Swerve is not champion anymore, or either way, they're gonna be contenders for the future champion at that time and later period. But now, we're gonna revisit the old history of Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland's match back in the day. So my thoughts is Swerve retains, and this is my final verdict on it. And yes,
Do you think Will Ospreay has the killer instinct to break out the Tiger Driver 91?
And is that the difference maker?
He teased it before, but I think he will save it for this match. Probably, he might bust it out.
He may not have a choice.
Because he's been real hesitant, because he even retired that move after what happened at Dynasty to Bryan Danielson.
And before that, what he did to Kenny Omega as well.
Well, Kenny Omega is lucky to be alive. That still makes me cringe to this day. No wonder she don't have a neck. He never suffered that as far as I know, but Kenny Omega basically about became that. Well, that being said, JJ, I mean, again, family mentality. Does it take the Tiger Driver 91, the Storm Driver as he calls it? Does it take Don Callis? Does he need Don Callis or the Don Callis family? Do they get involved here? Are those the factors that cost Will Ospreay in the end? Does Don Callis screw Driver, another man that refuses to follow his way and felt that he was bigger than him and doesn't owe him anything? What's your take on this? Because if Will Ospreay loses, that's also his first defeat in AEW. He's undefeated.
Oh wait, before I have to go. I have stuff to do. So yeah. All right. See you guys.
Appreciate ya.
Appreciate you, Lex.
Enjoy your day. And that was the Enforcer Lex. God bless that man. Appreciate him. All right, JJ. Well, you close things out in this closing conversation when it comes to the future of the All Elite Bruv, the AW Championship, and Swerve Strickland, considering we know that MJF got to be in the message, long-term storytelling. Let's not forget that backstage locker room encounter a few months ago. And again, as Lex and King alluded to, the winner of this match obviously will have the winner of the Owen coming after them. And at this point, do you run back the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay? Or for the first time ever, do you get Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland? If that's how the Owen concludes. Big if. But go ahead, man.
I don't see any way we get a clean finish here.
Same.
I don't either.
If Ospreay loses, you weaken him. If Swerve loses, what was the point of giving him the title?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way you get out of this is if you go to a time limit draw.
God.
Or if you do some kind of disqualification and have somebody get involved.
But who?
Exactly.
Guarantee you that bald-headed virus is going to be on commentary too.
Oh, for sure, no doubt about it.
We haven't seen him since that message during that promo that Ospreay says, "I don't need Don Callis and I don't need the family." Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Continue.
I mean, it could be the Callis family. It could be the Elite. It could be Joe. It could be MJF. It could be the Undisputed Kingdom. There's a lot of different ways they could go, but at the end of the day, those are the only two ways you go and you don't hurt anybody. Disqualification, time limit draw.
You realize this is going to be a 60-minute time limit, though, my friend.
60 minutes.
What a great test for Swerve.
True that.
Facts.
No disrespect to Swerve, I don't know if he can go 60 minutes and make it entertaining.
I'm not sure he's ever gone 60 minutes in the match. You know, Will Ospreay went 60 minutes for hell inside a dog-pound steel cage with the War Dogs earlier this year in February. So we know he can endure for 60-plus minutes.
So what better way to make Swerve than to have him go 60 minutes with Ospreay?
And it's funny you mentioned the Elite. Let's not forget, King and JJ, what's after Forbidden Door, after the Owen, later on next month in July.
Blood and Guts.
Blood and Guts, because the Elite offered a spot to Swerve, but Swerve denied. But also before that request that offered that the Elite had been picking the thorn of Swerve Strickland as champion.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Elite knows you have all the gold, you have all the control.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why they're trying to bring in their wild card to not only take the Owen, but take the AEW World Championship. But can that wild card also take place alongside the Elite in Blood and Guts?
Which is all the reason why Jack Perry's going to win that fucking TNT title.
Please don't put that in distance. Please no. I want you to be.
But we still got one participant to fill in that TNT Championship ladder match.
Is it going to be a wild card too? Are they actually going to fill it at this point? I don't think they even booked the match.
I haven't heard the announcement of it as of right now, but I mean, we got Collision on Saturday. But if they don't make an announcement of that, that's going to be our wild card at Forbidden Door.
Dude, Lord, who you put in that spot?
Jeff Jarrett. No, I'm kidding.
JJ! Come on! You're pushing the JJ agenda.
No, see, if I wanted to push the ATW gimmick, I'd say you put Allie in there.
Hey, well, she's taking an indefinite hiatus from professional wrestling for 19 years, so never
It's a Forbidden Door show, Noah.
Yeah, I know.
You don't get much more forbidden than somebody who's on an indefinite hiatus.
Yeah, but we saw what happened the last time I was in the ring. She accidentally got injured in a match against, an orbital bone almost stretch. Like that changes you again. So she's having fun doing skating and other things. So I wish nothing but the best to the bunny. Anyway, continue.
That was it.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, there's so many moving threads to this when it comes to the connections of these two men, the enemies they made, the enemies they might be creating, the history that awaits them ahead of Wembley, the opponents, the opposition that could confront them during this match or afterwards. And let's not forget, Daniel Garcia is facing Will Ospreay for the AEW International Championship, no matter what, this coming Wednesday on Dynamite. So there's already a lot ahead for the All Elite, bruv. why Swerve Strickland right now is trying to once again reinforce and tell people exactly why he is in this spot. He is AEW. He's the guy. He's the mogul. He's the ruler of two different worlds to take this company to the next level. Big pressure on the high rise. It's definitely Swerve Strickland's time right now. And we'll see how he hangs with the All Elite Bruv and how the All Elite Bruv handles the pressure of being in that spot. His first ever pay-per-view main event. It's going to be a hell of a match. It's going to be an interesting way that it goes out. But yeah, I mean, unless they pull I can't believe I'm saying this. This is bold. Unless they pull a Dominion 2017, there has to be a screwy finish here, King. I just don't see one of these men being the other clean. I don't.
Yeah, I agree, especially with a lot of moving parts and what JJ alluded to.
Well, it is one thing we can say about this show. There's at least a few matches that actually make this a very worthwhile pay-per-view to look forward to, and definitely has some compelling thoughts. And of course, these are just a few of the matches at the Forbidden Door. As of course, after that, we'll move into the All-In. And of course, we have during the All-In this coming Wednesday, we have Beach Break. Good luck, Jeff Jarrett and Chris Statlander. And of course, we have, I imagine they're going to announce Fight for the Fallen and Firefest as is tradition in July. Of course, we'll head to Blood and Guts, and then we start the Path to All-In as we head towards Wembley Stadium next month. Not to mention, Death Before Dishonor. Seriously, get Ring of Honor for getting good. Just hire Scott D'Amore. I'm just saying. And so much more.
You can't hire Scott D'Amore, remember? He's until 2025.
I forgot. I'm tired, all right? I'm just tired. Look, we've done our thing this whole time. But I think that being said, this has been a phenomenal edition once again of Impromptu. A long time that we've had a crossover special. Looking very forward to this happening again. Let's do it next year, all right? As long as the Forbidden Door continues to remain open. But it's been fun, guys, and thank you all for tuning in. If you've been along for the ride the entire time or tuned into certain parts and just, enjoyed certain topics, enjoyed our renaissance over the WyattSicks and our outtakes so far, some of the biggest matches come out of Forbidden Door, as to predicting. Thank you all for tuning in again. Shout out to the entire ATW family. Hope you all are doing well and have all the social media accounts. JJ, it's been an absolute pleasure. I know I'm going to see you this Friday. You're always welcome into the ATW Impromptu, bro. I hope you had a lot of fun.
Always.
I know this is mostly normal for you because you're on the West Coast, but me and this guy are about to pass out. So go ahead and plug your stuff real quick, and I'll see you Friday, bro.
You can find me on Instagram, the Renegade JJ Williams, Twitter, ROWJJ Williams, YouTube, Casa D18 Studios. I have a wide array of stuff that is in the cauldron, bubbling up to start premiering. Just kind of waiting to get out of this place that I'm at right now so I can really get into a studio and start cranking it all out. But so much content.
Good deal.
That I've been wanting to do and been itching to expand to. So be on the lookout for that. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to come into your world.
Our world, but yeah.
Come on, you got to admit it was perfect, Noah.
It was. I didn't get.
I wasn't trying to piss you off, Slapnut, but it was just too perfect.
I got you. That makes sense. And welcome to the chaos that I moderate.
Yes. I now understand why you try so hard to reel me in when shit gets crazy, because I've now experienced Eric firsthand.
No.
Yeah, he's a wild card. He's a true wild card. God bless him. But he's a good man. Good people.
But yeah, man, it was cool coming on here for a change. I don't know exactly when this is going to go up on your channels, but I will definitely see you Friday for Simply Predicting. Ahead of that, tune into the Dads Not Always on Wrestling on the Casa D18 Studios channel, as me and Jeff give our picks for what we would book for a Forbidden Door card.
Yes.
He's going strictly NXTNA and doing that whole rivalry. I'm expanded to all promotions. I have OVW talent. I have NWA talent. I have Mission Pro talent. I have TNA, WWE, NXT, AEW, New Japan.
Oh my.
I have a little array of everything that I've booked.
Only companies you didn't mention were Stardom and Pro Wrestling Nova.
Right.
Yeah. I'm looking
Well,
forward.
I can't book Stardom because I promised that I would try to keep it even 5-5, and I've already gone to 6 women's matches. Don't want to book a 7th one and have to do 7 men matches.
Yeah.
Now I'm Tony Khan booking a 14-match card.
Don't get him ideas. He's been doing good. He's been doing single digit main level.
Exactly. Do not.
So I'm going to try to stick at the 12 that I'm already allotted at this point.
All right.
So no Noah, no Stardom, unfortunately, but pretty much every other Fed that I have a general knowledge of has been tapped for this show.
That's awesome.
Be on the lookout for that. I think you will get a kick out of it.
If I don't listen to it ahead of Super Dating on Friday due to work, I'm definitely listening to it Saturday, where thankfully there's nothing on. Like a roast. So
we're going to be 2:00 Pacific, so 5:00 Eastern time.
Okay,
doing this. So you should be home, or at least on the way home, to where you can maybe listen to it in your headset as we're doing it. So
yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll definitely try
tune into that.
Yeah.
And being as how it's a wrestling show, I'm going to be going first. Jeff always closes it out. So I'm going to basically tell him follow that.
Damn. Well, this should be fun. Epic fantasy booking of history. The dad's not always on wrestling. Tune in, folks, and please become a member, become a supporter, become a friend and a fan of the Gemini multiverse of media today. It's always a blast. It's always a pleasure. It's always wonderful to collab with these wonderful gentlemen and lady, of course, and Natalya and Dory Lou, our other barkeep. Go check out the sports bar as always, folks, and follow your barkeeps. Today, it's really been a pleasure. King, we did it once again, man. This was definitely a wild ride tonight, but it was a lot of fun as always. Again, stay tuned for the forum, bro. Have an honorable and impactful Thursday. Anything you want to plug on any closing thoughts?
Y'all know where to follow me on Twitter. Y'all know where to follow me on Instagram, AMT, Roman numeral 23. Simple as that.
Well, I mean, hey, anything else needs to be said besides that? I don't think so. Again, folks, thank you for tuning in. Follow the ATW crew. Follow the ATW Impromptu on my YouTube channel. You find the entire playlist of this podcast we started since our family established during the pandemic 2020. Shout out again to the entire family, and please follow Mary J. We should continue to prove J's more than gold. Go check out some of our recent matches, courtesy of Spinebuster TV, right here on YouTube, and some of our past matches there, too, from episodes and clips. Hope you're doing well, Megan Chiba. Hope to chat with you again soon. Shout out to SC as she continues to rise through the independent ranks in her wrestling corresponding. Eric, take care of your mentality, always my friend, but stay humble. And again, Lex, it was a pleasure having him on the show. I hope Casey's doing well. I know that he's always had a lot of personal situations and health situations too, but I know that he's doing better, so it's good to know. He wasn't on here, but shout out to, because he's different, James Hebert. He probably fell asleep knowing how much he's working on his documentary. Please follow him in the pursuit of that. And again, folks, we thank you all for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed the ride. You can find me again this Friday, Super Dating with me and JJ. You'll find this guy and me some point down the line again for another real impromptu. Let's the family cause another one out of nowhere sometimes, as I try and make those official for them too. But as always, on behalf of ATW, we acknowledge, love, appreciate, chat, discuss, dissect, and respect, and engage and enjoy all things wrestling. So I think with that being said, this has been a hell of a night, but I think we will finally fade to black and GTS and bid you all a fine adieu. So until next time, make a positive impact in life, and as always, have a good night. This has been the ATW Open Mic Night Crossover Impromptu. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night, folks.